Welcome, everyone, to Southern Virginia University football from the fields at Southern Virginia University. It's the 2017 season opener for the Knights as they get ready to take on the Christopher Newport Captains. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined by Chip Erickson here at the fields at Southern Virginia University. Chip, a big crowd for this opener.
There is. It's good to see this many out here come out to take part in this new stadium and just support the Knights.
A lot of new things happening. Of course, for those tuning in, as opposed to a year ago, Knights have new colors, crimson jerseys, and white numerals. As you mentioned, the new facilities, a new press box, new permanent stands on the home side. And, of course, we've also got a lot of other things going on here, but the Knights are getting ready for a very tough opener today against Christopher Newport.
Yeah, this is an opponent that they ended the season with last year. Kind of a tough loss there. Ended with a 41-0 loss. Looking for some good things today. Coach Dupay, as I talked with him yesterday, biggest thing he's looking for today is some fanatical effort. Watch these guys flying around the field and just doing their job.
Knights won the opening coin toss. They defer to the second half, so Sam Hilmerman will go ahead and kick off for the Knights, kicking off to Christopher Newport. Christopher Newport coming off a 7-3 season. The Knights were 2-8 a year ago. But, Chip, that 2-8 record a little deceiving. When you look at the College of New Jersey game, the Rowan game, and maybe one or two others, the Knights could have easily won 4 or 5 games last year.
Yeah, there were a lot of close ones for him, which in the first season as a staff, that's a pretty good thing to see.
And good downfield coverage by special teams by the Knights, limiting the return shy of the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that's a great job by the Knights flying down the field. Just exactly what Coach Dupay was talking about. Some fanatical effort and a lot of energy on this field tonight.
Now we'll set the Christopher Newport offense, and it really centers around their returning quarterback in K.J. Kearney. He is a 6-foot, 170-pound senior out of North Dinwiddie, Virginia. And Kearney can run the ball. He can throw the ball.
Yeah, he can. He'll be looking for a new target this year, though, as his top wideout graduated.
He also lost his top running back, but Kearney, again, is a pretty good running quarterback himself.
Yeah, Knights will definitely have to do their job tonight and keep their assignments.
So we'll see how the Knights do defensively on this opening series, and CNU will get a good run over the left side. Good pickup there of about 8 yards.
Yeah, Taj Brown on that carry, bouncing outside and picking up some good yardage on first down.
Brown, just a freshman, 6 foot, 220 pounds out of Gloucester. As you see right there that the captains also have their big tight end, Danny Matson, who was returning receiver from last year. He's also in the backfield. Kearney on second down and 2. Kearney, the quarterback. Let's see if they run or throw here on second down and 2. Going to go right back to the running back, get a first down. And CNU gets the ball across the 35 up to the 37. So just a couple of plays, and the captains have their first down, and they're going to go without a huddle. Now Kearney wants to throw. He's got time. Wings it over to the right side. Has his receiver into Knights territory. Catch made around the 49 of CNU, and moving upfield for a couple more yards is Cole Blaze, the freshman receiver from Virginia Beach. And right now the Knights looking to make a big defensive stand here, Chip, because CNU is moving the football. They're going no huddle. They go to the right side again. And this gain is going to be for 7 or 8 yards.
They are. They're just active. They're going, throwing, quick back on the ball. They're going to force these Knights to spend a lot of energy on this opening drive.
Yeah, good mix of run and pass, Chip, on this drive. And, of course, the no huddle also is a big factor, as Kearney will throw again to the right side. He gets a great downfield block, and they move the football all the way to the 32-yard line. Tremendous block, taking out the cornerback. And when that block occurred, Chip, there was really no one out there to stop the receiver for a good 5 or 6 yards.
No, there wasn't there. And it looks like Coach Mariani, the offensive coordinator for Christopher Newport, has something he likes on this right side.
35-yard line, play action. Kearney throwing left side, airs it out, puts it right on the money. And they're going to say the receiver stepped out of bounds. That ball hung up a little bit, and the receiver had to wait for it.
It did.
And
also got a flag on the field here, Jim.
Big defensive stand there for the Knights, at least on first down. We'll see if this goes against the captains. Then the Knights will have a choice. Take the penalty or take the incompletion. Looks like it's holding, and if you're the Knights defensively, you almost have to accept this penalty.
Yeah, anything you can do to move them back. and keep that pace they had going.
This is just the third game in the CNU Southern Virginia University series, as the Captains were able to win last year 41-0. They also won the year before handily, so this is the third game. The Knights are hoping to break the two-game losing streak to CNU today, Chip.
Yeah, they're really looking to have the same opening they did last year as Coach DuPay won his opening game.
Back at the 45-yard line. And Kearney hands it off to Dandridge, and the Knights shut him down for a loss.
There's that defensive line that played so well for the Knights last year. They really held this defense together last year with a lot of pressure up front with those big guys.
Yeah, J.J. Mahalo right there, among others, to stop the ball carrier in the backfield for about a yard loss. So now second down and long for CNU. They're back at the 46 of Southern Virginia. They have to get to around the 25 for a first down. Second down, 21. Quick out left side. Knights trying to stop the blockers and stop the receiver, and he gets inside the 40 to the 37. And so now it looks like it's going to be third down. And we'll see what the Knights can do defensively on a big third down play.
Yeah, this is a great position for the defense to show up right here and hold them out on this long third down.
There's movement along the line, maybe offsides. They're going to go for the deep pattern.
Free play.
And it is caught. What a great catch down on the sidelines at the 6-yard line. And also a Knight is injured. That is Josh Christopher, the cornerback. Well, at that point, if they had the penalty call, obviously, Chip, CNU had nothing to lose. They were going to go with the gamble down the right sideline, and it paid off for the Captains.
Yeah, he definitely made that long throw and threw it up there knowing that he had a free play coming.
So obviously the penalties declined. The big gain accepted by the Captains, and they've got it first and goal at the 6.
Yeah, that kind of hurts there on a third and long. A little over anxious there on the defensive line to try to get in there and create some pressure on Kearney.
And if you're Christopher, you're not really expecting that. You're looking at maybe some short pattern on a third down play, and then you get the, as you mentioned, the offsides call, and suddenly it's basically a freewheeling play for the Captains.
Yeah, and they definitely took advantage of the opportunity there, get the ball way down in Knights territory. Now the defense with their back against their own goal line have got to come up here tough.
So we'll see what the Knights can do if they can make a big defensive stand here with first and goal at the 6-yard line. Knights haven't had the ball yet. They won the opening coin toss, decided to defer and take the ball in the second half to start the second half. And so right now the Captains starting this drive inside their own 25-yard line after the kickoff, and they've moved the ball all the way to the Knights' 6-yard line.
And they've done it quickly. It's only 2.5 minutes into this first opening quarter.
Josh Christopher coming off. Can't use that left leg. He would be a key loss this early in the season with the opener. Tremendous quarterback for the Knights.
Yeah, one of 12 seniors that Coach DuPay has on the roster this year, which is a good number to have in his second year, but it would be a big loss.
He's from Atlanta, Georgia. And so it's first and goal for the Captains at the 6-yard line of the Knights. And with Kearney, we've yet to see him run from the quarterback position. You wonder if he might do it here.
Yeah, this would be a great place on the field for him.
Going to hand it off to the running back instead. Yeah, not much for Brown. Straight ahead, he got inside the 5 to the 4 for 2. Knights probably came in expecting Kearney to run the ball, and it's only the first series, obviously. And we'll see if he continues to hand the football off or even throws the ball. Kearney.
Right, he's looking just to hand off.
Gives it to Brown again, and he's buried in the backfield by the Knights.
There's that tough defensive line getting some depth and pressure up front.
Whole host of tacklers that time for the Knights. Loss all the way back to the 8. Now it is going to be third and goal. If you're the Captains here, Chip, and you don't get into the end zone, depending if you're at the 1 or 2 yard line or the 7 or 8 yard line, do you go for the field goal?
Boy, I don't know. You're on the road in a conference game. I think you get whatever points you can get early.
See if Kearney decides to throw here. Got Brown alongside of him. 2 receivers either side, or to the right side, and 1 to the left. He looks left, throws to the end zone. It is caught at the 1. They say it's a touchdown, though. Going to say that the reception was made in the end zone, apparently, and then the receiver was pushed back. That was close.
It was. He had good coverage on him, but Kearney threw that ball on the backside there with it. Only guy that could get that was the receiver.
That was Kyrie Weaver, 6'3" senior out of Virginia Beach, making the catch. And that was just a good, accurate pass by Kearney. He put it right on the money right when the receiver turned around. And now the captains will try to go for 2, and the Knights stopped that momentarily. And they put the finishing touch on the running back to stop that 2-point conversion attempt.
It was a good job by the defensive special teams doing their job, staying home, and playing some assignment football.
So a long drive by CNU that started around their 23-yard line, 77-yard drive, ends in a touchdown pass. No 2-point conversion, though, so 6-0. Captains on top, and now for the first time this season, Southern Virginia will have the football.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here with Ty Jones in his second season leading the offense from the quarterback position. As the Knights will look to sustain a drive here and run some time off the clock, which is a good design of this offense that they run with that triple option.
It's going to be a strange schedule this year. We've got the opener here, the home opener and the season opener against Christopher Newport. Then the Knights next week will be going to Rowan for another night game at 7 o'clock. And then they've got back-to-back home games against Montclair and Kane. Got Wesley on the 30th. Home game against Apprentice on October the 7th, and they haven't played Apprentice for a couple of years. That's homecoming. Their final home game of the year is October the 27th against Frostburg. And the Knights have 2 road games in November. First time I can recall in quite some time, maybe ever, the Knights have not had a home game in November.
Yeah, it's a pretty home-heavy schedule early on. Interesting one there. That game against Frostburg is a Friday night game at 7 p.m.
So here comes the kickoff. Knights getting ready to return it down 6-0 in this football game. Good return by the Knights. Across the 25, up to around the 27-yard line.
Pretty good starting field position here for the Knights on their first drive of the season.
Now Ty Jones will come out at quarterback for the Knights. And Ty got that year experience playing quarterback last year. Of course, he got banged up in the Earlham game at the very beginning of the season and never really was 100% as far as his shoulder was concerned, and that impacted his ability to throw the football. But he's completely healthy this year, Chip.
He is, and he said he feels good, and his shoulder's feeling really good.
Got some movement along the line. Jones will back off a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good idea there to get a little motion, see how the defense is going to handle that. Back out and get under and call another play.
And Ty hands right up the middle. Big gainer, could be 6 points. All the way goes Moa. Simi to the 10, to the 5, and he scores.
That is great way to start the season. Christopher Newport was definitely not ready for that up the middle.
Simi
No
Moala.
flags.
Wow, out of nowhere. Just blows through the CNU defense for 6 points.
Couldn't ask for a better start there by the offense.
Well, they were looking for something outside, it looked like. They were looking for the reverse to the left, and they snuck the fullback straight up the middle. And once he broke through the defensive line and basically the linebackers, he just ripped right through the secondary.
He did. The secondary plays up so tight in this offense, and that's a big old man running down the field.
And just like that, the game is tied at 6. And now the Knights will try to add the extra point to take their first lead of 2017. And they do. And the Knights lead 7-6.
Yeah, definitely a great start to this season. Big thing is having that momentum and seeing that energy, forgetting about the way the season ended last year with that big loss and coming out here and just playing every play.
Jackson Hatch making the extra point. There was a penalty flag down. Well, I still remember the game against Wesley last year when they kind of found Moala's running ability. As a punter, he dropped the ball twice on a snap on the punt. As you see, the call goes against the captains. Assessed on the kickoff. And after dropping the snap from center on those punt attempts by Moala, he just ran over people in that Wesley game. And then you had the instant recognition this kid was going to be a pretty good running back.
Yeah, that was a great move for them to be able to put him over there after losing their their leading rusher last year is Michael Fry as a senior, and having that fullback position is such a critical thing in this offense.
And, of course, Michael has now joined the coaching staff.
Yes, he has. Yes, that's something that you see a lot at this level. Guys will stay and get their feet wet in coaching. And Michael's not the only one this year. There's also Keaton Epps has come back, and Stephen O'Grady.
Yeah, Keaton, I remember him from the 2013 team.
Yeah, he played here, and then he went up and played at Minot State. GA there for a year, and now he's back coaching the defensive line this year.
So after the penalty, the Knights kick off from the 50. Well, they boot it deep, and it looks like they're going to try to do that. So there will be no return by the captains, and they'll take over after the touchback. So the Knights have their first lead of 2017, coming right back on a long run by Simi Moala to make it 7-6 Knights.
Yeah, and that's something you don't see very often in this offense this early in the game. A lot of times late in the game, a big fullback will make his presence seen like that on a long run, but not very often that a triple option offense scores that quickly.
But it makes you wonder, are we going to see more of that just because, Ty Jones and the tailbacks are so dangerous going around the end? Just maybe once or twice a game, you try to sneak the fullback straight ahead, and you hope that something like that happens maybe every game.
Yeah, that would be a big advantage to have.
Kearney, the quarterback, as the captains go back to work, trailing for the first time in this game. Good solid run on first down of about 5 yards, almost 6. Brown running the ball again for the captains. Kind of surprised that Kearney, the quarterback, who was the second leading rusher last year for the captains, has yet to run here in the first quarter.
Yeah, they're running a lot of that inside zone. They must like something there with what those defensive linemen are doing.
And they picked up almost 7 yards on that carry. And they're going to go right back to Brown again, and he gets the first down. He's across the 35 up to the 36-yard line.
Yeah,
Brown is a freshman out of Gloucester, 6 foot, 220 pounds.
Yeah, they sure like him as a freshman. They're giving him a lot of carries.
Kearney wants to throw. Launches it to the left side. Good gain again, and going to end up being 7 or 8 yards. Looks like they'll mark him out at the 42. Might be about a 6-yard pickup. But right now, with the no huddle, they're going with the running back carries to Brown a lot and the short passing game, and it's worked so far for the captains. They haven't really had the big play except for that one that all the way down to the 6-yard line on the free play.
Right.
And this time a quick short pass to the left side, and the receiver gets into Southern Virginia territory all the way to the 44 of the Knights. Good reception pulled in and good run after the catch by Joshua Davis. And just like the first series, the captains are on the move here.
Yeah, and a real good decision there by Kearney. He had a run-pass option there and decided to pull the ball up and hit his wide out.
Now Brown again on the carry, and this time the Knights knock him down. Only about a 2-yard pickup.
Yeah, this no huddle, this is keeping the defense on their heels.
Joel Bergman coming up to make the tackle. Second down and 8 to go. This time Kearney will have his first carry of the game, and he gets run out of bounds. Great pursuit by the Knights.
Yeah, they really stretched that play to the sideline, didn't give Kearney anywhere to go, and ended up with no gain here, bringing up a 3rd and long.
3rd down, 8 to go. This could be 2-down territory, depending on what happens on 3rd down here for the captains.
Yeah, it'd be nice to put them in that punting situation at this point in the game.
Knights are on top here, 7-6. See if Kearney decides to throw here, needing 8 yards. Knights would love to get that sack, too. Kearney's going to throw across the middle. Wide open receiver, splitting defenders. First down, captains, 25-yard line of the Knights.
Yeah, he went out there, found that hole right in the middle, behind the linebackers in front of the safeties, and Kearney did a good job getting him the ball.
Well, he talked about how dangerous a runner Kearney is. He's looking like he's a pretty accurate passer, too. Hands it off to Brown. Short gain. They work it down to the 22 for about a 3-yard pickup.
Yeah, Brown getting a lot of looks early on, hitting inside with that big body.
Doesn't look, at least here in the first quarter, like they want to run the quarterback hardly at all. Just the running backs and the short passing game.
Yeah, Kearney only has the 1 carry, and he is a dangerous runner.
He's got Harrison Dandridge behind him now in the running back position. 2nd down, 8 to go.
Yeah, it looked like Brown came up limping just a little bit on that last play.
Captain's trying to take the lead back after falling behind 7-6. Dandridge gets the carry, gets away from a defender, cuts it inside, and ends up picking up good yardage. Boy, the Knights had a great chance to bring him down, and they just had the missed tackle, and ends up being about a 6 to 7 yard gain, and now it's going to be 3rd and 2, and obviously this is 4-down territory if the Captains so choose. They need 2 yards for a 1st down. And a quick pass, good block downfield, and the Captains do pick up the 1st down. They're down to the 13-yard line of the Knights now.
Yeah, they're really letting Kearney keep that ball short right here. They're throwing a lot of those quick passes to both sides of the field and having success with it.
So it's 1st down, Captains, and Kearney wants to throw again. He looks pressured, now has time, rolls right, fires it away into the end zone and back of the end zone, just throwing that one away. Well, he might have been able to run with the ball, but he wanted to look into the end zone for a receiver. Couldn't find anybody open, and credit the Knights secondary.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're telling him not to run or if that's just where he has progressed as a senior quarterback. He's looking to throw the ball first.
So now 2nd down. Moving along the line. There's a flag down. Another free play coming up. Kearney hits the end zone touchdown pass. Put that right over the secondary and into the receiver's hands, and the Captains are back on top 12 to 7. If that's offsides on the Knights, obviously the penalty will be declined as the pass was pulled in by Austin Hall, and again, just accurate passing by Kearney, the quarterback. He floated it over the secondary and right into his receiver's hands.
Yeah, again, they're on a 3rd down. The Knights are not watching the ball up front there. You can hear Kearney as he calls the signal. He's calling it really hard there, trying to get them to jump.
And that's the 2nd big play that has resulted as, not perhaps as a result, but in conjunction with offsides, as the Captains are going to go for the extra point. Trying to take a 13 to 7 lead with 7:27 to go here in the 1st quarter. And the Captains are now on top by 6.
Yeah, and good decision there for them to take that point. You don't want to be chasing those 2 extra points the whole game.
So now it's back to the Southern Virginia offense, which really on their first series, not on the field too long, thanks to Moala's big touchdown run.
Yeah, and that's as much as you like that play and you want that, that can be a little bit hard on your defense to have to get right back on the field that quick, especially with the high-speed offense that Christopher Newport's coming out with tonight.
Although I'm sure Coach DePay, if that happens on a regular basis, he'll take it.
Sure. As will all the fans.
It'll be interesting to see how this Knights offense really develops this season. You got Ty Jones, healthy now, completely healthy apparently, after last season. And not only the option, the read option, but his ability also in the pistol.
Yes, definitely. Plus, up front for him this year, you've got 3 seniors anchoring that offensive line.
Yep.
Your tackles both this year are sophomores, but the left tackle, Nate Colbert, he's recently returned from an LDS mission, and he started as a freshman at that left tackle position. So a lot of experience there on the offensive line this year.
So the Knights, after taking a 7-6 lead, now trail 13 to 7. Captains on top. And we'll see if they can get a good field position thanks to the special teams. And they get it across the 25 again.
Similar starting field position here.
So the ball will be at the 26-yard line, and the Knights offense will come back onto the field for the 2nd time tonight after they got the opening touchdown on their first series. Got John Harris out there. Slot back. Ty will go under center.
Get that motion again to see how the defense is going to react to it.
Seth Hansen was in motion. And Ty will keep it and gets good yardage across the right side, across the 30 up to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, a good push by the offensive line on that play there. Gave gave a good running lane there for a quarterback.
Good gain on first down. That's the kind of gains you want on first down, about 5 yards.
Yeah, I always want to stay ahead of those chains a little bit.
Second down at 5 to go. And good gain again for the Knights. As Ty was able to pick up a couple yards. Looks like they'll mark him closer to the 27, so just a 1 yard pickup, they say, and that brings up third down, 4 to go now.
Yeah, third and short to medium's not a bad spot to be here.
Several talented backs are out there right now, along with Mahalo, number 8, and John Harris, and also another player they're looking for big things from, sophomore Akiva Wedge from Forestville, Maryland. Knights need 4 yards. Will they run or pass here? The handoff, and Moala got up to the 35, but it looks like he's going to be shy of the first down marker by at least a yard, maybe almost a yard and a half.
Yeah, this is a tough spot here for the Knights. Typically it would be a punting situation here, but looks like...
Well, 4th and 2, I think you almost have to punt here. And Sam Horman will come into the game to punt.
Yeah, you don't want to go for it here and take that chance of not making it and giving the captain's great field position.
So for the first time today, an offense has been stopped here in the first quarter. Knights will hope for a good kick, maybe try to flip the field position. And the ball goes way over Horman's head. He goes back to the 3 yard line to pick it up, and he's got nowhere to go, and he's hit back at the 2 yard line. Just did not have enough time to grab the ball off the turf and kick it. And about the only thing he could have done maybe is run into the end zone to take the safety, because now it's going to be Christopher Newport set up for maybe just a point-blank shot here from the 2 yard line for 6 points. About the only thing that Sam really could have done in retrospect, and it's hindsight, is to take that ball in the end zone and take the safety, give up the 2 points, and then kick it back to Christopher Newport.
Yeah, that probably would have been the better decision right there. Not really something that you practice. So he's probably not been told what to do in that situation, but I'm sure he will from here going forward.
And now the Captains have a chance here from the 2 yard line to take a 13-7 lead and increase that lead. Yeah, that's one of those situations where if you're the punter, probably all you're thinking about is self-survival, just trying to get rid of the ball, not really thinking about, safety or kick.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that when the ball's been on the ground that long that you're going to turn around and have a host of defenders coming at you.
And now Kearney will try to pass on 1st and goal. Hits the receiver in the end zone for a touchdown.
A quick strike there from the Captains. It was a tough situation, tough place for that defense to be put into.
Kristen Anand making the catch, and now it's 19-7 Christopher Newport. So after the Knights went on top 7-6, 13 straight points here by the Captains. And it looks like they're going to go for 2 here, trying to get it up to a 14-point lead. Nope, they're going to slide back, it looks like, and go for the extra point instead.
The Knights did have some success last year in blocking the kicks. We'll see what they can do here.
And now they're going to go for 2 and wide open. Easy play for the kicker to go on into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. That play was well designed by the Captains as the kicker, Garbarini, was able to get in untouched around the left side, and now it's 21-7, the Captains on top. Just a well-designed play there.
It is, and that's tough for that guy coming off the edge, especially with the Knights there, and they're looking for that edge man to be coming in and possibly getting a hand on the ball to block it. There's just nobody out there to contain that.
Well, we got a few minutes, good chance to update the folks watching tonight about also the other New Jersey Athletic Conference teams that have been in action really over the last couple of days. Wesley was defeated on Thursday. Frostburg also won its game against Stevenson on Thursday, and then Friday, Salisbury lost a wild game to Albright, and College of New Jersey also lost on Friday. And I think you mentioned William Patterson lost earlier today?
They did. They were shut out by Rensselaer out of Troy, New York. And Rowan and Widener are playing right now. Kane and Montclair both had an open date on their calendar tonight, and their first game of the season will be next week.
And the Knights will be playing on the road next Saturday night at Rowan. Boy, I still go back a year ago. I think it was back in October where the Knights had Rowan, had a great chance of beating Rowan on this very same field. It was a close game in the fourth quarter, but Rowan was able to hold on.
Yeah, that was unexpected there by Rowan. I think the Knights came in with a good game plan in that one and kind of caught Rowan off guard.
Knights returning this kickoff, and this time they do not reach the 25 as they had done previously. Instead, they're only going to get back to the 22 as Cade Knight actually is marked to the 21-yard line. So the Knights offense back on the field, down by 14 points.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations that Coach DuPay really stresses. You know, he tells his players all the time, don't trust the scoreboard. The scoreboard lies to you. Just come out. You have to play your play. It doesn't matter if you're up by 20, down by 20. You just have to make every play count.
Man, we are still in the first quarter. Still a lot of time left to go in this one with the Knights trailing for the first time by 14 points. Ty Jones wants to throw deep, throws over the top and hits Seth Hansen coming out of the backfield. There is a flag.
Yeah,
Might be unnecessary roughness here.
Yeah, that defender came up and hit Seth before he had a chance to get his feet down, really, and looked like he came pretty high around his head.
Nice catch by Hansen. How about that catch by Seth and his ability to hang on to the football?
Definitely. And there's a difference between last season and this season now that Ty Jones' shoulder is healthy.
Yeah, Ty floated that one right over the top and hit Hansen. See if they're going to tack on maybe 10 or 15 yards of penalty yardage after the catch.
Yeah, that'll be a big play and get them up the field, put them in the captain's territory.
So you see that they're not going to call that. But still a great catch by Hansen and his ability to hang on to the football. It's still pretty good field position. Despite the lack of penalty yardage, it's going to be 44-yard line for the Knights. Back to the ground game. And they go straight ahead with the fullback and nothing doing this time. Maybe a half-yard pickup.
Yeah, good disciplined defense there.
That was Juka Patatafa on the carry from Salt Lake City, just a freshman. And they're pretty high on Juka, number 25.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about him coming out of camp this year.
He got about a yard pickup, so it's 2nd down, 9 to go. Ty, left side, got a lot of running room, got through one defender, got across the 50, and he's up to around the 49 or 48. Good gain.
Yeah, good job by Jones getting outside of that defensive leverage and picking up some good yards here.
They mark him closer to the 50-yard line. Still an excellent pickup by Ty Jones. He was able to escape at least one defender to get 4 or 5 yards, and now the Knights have a very makeable 3rd down coming up. 3rd down, about 4 to go.
Yeah, good position to be in here at midfield.
And it could be 4-down territory. As Jones gets a high snap, pitches the ball outside to Hansen. Hansen not able to go ahead for only about a yard, and that leaves the Knights looking at a big decision here. 49-yard line of the captains and 4th and 3. And what do you do when you're down by 14 points in the first quarter on the other team's 49-yard line, looking at 4th down, 3 to go?
Boy, I don't know, tough decision here again. The offense has done a good job moving the ball. This is that odd spot on the field. And Hansen did a good job there getting back to the original line of scrimmage. After you saw there, the Knights lined up in a different formation for them this year. They lined up in the pistol.
Yep. Not going to have to make that decision. Unnecessary roughness, the call against CNU. And that's a huge penalty. Wipes out the decision that they had to make on 4th down. Instead gives them a 1st down all the way at the captain's 34-yard line. See if the Knights could take advantage of it now.
Definitely need to take advantage of this penalty and the field position that it gives them. Good opportunity here after a big penalty there. Maybe come out with a throw.
And Jones wants to throw, gets away from the pressure. Fires on the run deep to the left sidelines, and we've got another penalty flag. Probably going to be interference.
Yeah, I don't think the defensive back there was ready for that coming on that 1st down. Jones being a right-handed quarterback rolling to his left, he did a good job getting his hips turned and putting that ball up in the air.
Trying to hit Dylan Peters. Defensive holding is the call. So it's going to be a first down for the Knights.
So for the Captains, that's 2 big mistakes in a row there. They've given up 25 yards in penalties on consecutive plays.
And we'll see if the Knights could take advantage of these penalties and get on the scoreboard again. And CNU wants to talk things over. They're going to call a timeout.
Yeah, I don't think new head coach there, Christopher Newport, Art Link, likes what he saw there with 2 penalties, keeping the Knights alive in this first quarter.
Boy, does that say a lot that Art Link, first-year coach, is just the second coach in CNU football history.
Yeah, that's some good longevity there and keeping the coaching staff together.
Relatively young program, Knights young program too. And you got to like the way the program is headed. You went from 8 wins in 2013, 2 combined wins in the 2014-2015 season, then 2 wins last year, and I know they're hoping for a lot more victories here in 2017, Chip, but it obviously shows you how tough it is, especially when you talk about football as opposed to other sports, to make the jump to Division III.
Yeah, and this is probably one of the toughest conferences in all of Division III. Wesley is a regular in the playoffs. Rowan, Salisbury are both very good teams, and Frostburg has really made a turnaround in the last couple of years.
And Kane is another program on the rise.
Yes, they are.
Ball's at the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Knights. Straight ahead handoff to Moala. As opposed to that opening touchdown run, he only picked up a couple of that time, got it close to the 21-yard line. And it looks like after that opening touchdown run by Simi that the Captains' middle of their defense has really started to look for the fullback.
Yeah, definitely have made an adjustment there. He needs to run a little bit lower, it looks like. He's coming through pretty high looking for a place to run instead of just coming through like he did on that first play, head down and getting what he could get.
He picked up 3, so it's 2nd down and 7 for the Knights at the 21-yard line of the Captains. Jones drops the ball, picks it back up.
Looks like we're going to have a false start here on the Knights.
And CNU will take that penalty and turn a 2nd down and 7 into 2nd down and 12. Ball back at the 26 now.
Yeah, giving the Captains back some of those penalty yards.
See Jones at times again this season in the pistol as opposed to the shotgun, and that gives him a kind of a different look.
Yeah, definitely a different look for the Knights. Still gives them a pretty good opportunity to run what they like to run in this triple option mindset, even in running it out of the pistol.
Carroll's the receiver to the left. Peters over to the right. And Wedge is the man in motion. Hand off to Juka, and he only got about a yard or so. He got inside the 25 to the 24. You'll mark him closer to the 25-yard line. Knights are going to need some big plays here if they're going to want to get in the end zone to try to get their 2nd touchdown of the game, looking at 3rd and almost 10 to go.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a spot where they're not going to have to think too hard about what to do if they don't pick the first down up here. Definitely a spot for down territory.
More than likely, unless they can get some serious yardage, it's going to be too far for a field goal attempt. Right now, it'd be about a 42-yarder.
Yeah, the kicker this year, he did hit a 42-yarder in their scrimmage against Bridgewater, but you don't want to put him in that position too often.
Short pass. Wedge makes the catch.
Well, he gets close.
Certainly brings up a very makeable 4th down play here. Looks like it's going to be 4th and maybe a yard to go. Long one coming up for the Knights.
Knights,
you think just Ty Jones maybe here?
Yeah, that would be the best decision. You don't have that chance of getting something bad on the pitch.
Unless they go straight ahead with Simi Moala, number 8.
Sure.
Big play here for the Knights offense to keep this drive going. They go to Moala, and he got the first down. Got it inside the 15 where he had to go. And it looks like he's got enough.
See where we get a spot here when everybody gets off the pile.
Looked like he had to get to around the 15 or just inside the 15. They mark him at the 14. It's close. Had to get to around the 14. He got to the 14. If he didn't make it, it's going to be by inches.
And they'll bring the chains out for a measurement.
Well, this could be one of the critical factors in this ball game. Still in the first quarter, but the Knights really need to pick up this first down measurement.
Yeah, critical spot here. Keep their momentum going. Give them an opportunity to cut that lead down.
And he
Boy.
did not make it by an inch or two. Comes up short.
Wow, you can't get much closer than that without actually getting it.
Well, it looked like he had picked it up. The captain's able to hold on, though, defensively. And now the captain's offense comes back out of the field. And in this first quarter, at least, they've been pretty much unstoppable.
They have. They've kind of done what they wanted at will. Coming out with that fast-paced, hurry-up offense. And have a good mix there, the pass and the run. And haven't seen Kearney run here yet, but one time.
He's got the short passing game working. And that has really been the problem so far in this first quarter, the inability to stop the short pass as the Knights still looking for a sack. And they fired, again, another short pass, and a connection is made at the 19-yard line. Pass pulled in by Kyrie Weaver.
Yeah,
another 5-yard gain there.
Another quick throw for Kearney.
So it's second down, almost 5 to go from the 19-yard line. And Kearney will turn and hand it off. And a short gain, maybe a couple of yards across the 20 to the 21. Goes Taze Brown. And now Captains have a big third down play coming up here, as the Knights will try to stop CNU for the first time in this ball game without allowing a first down.
Yeah, the defense needs to watch the ball close here and not jump and give them a free play again like they've done twice in previous drives.
3rd and 3. Let's see if they go with the short pass. And they do, and it's a wide open completion up to around the 29-yard line as Kyrie Weaver, coming underneath, was completely open. No one on him.
Yeah, good play call there as the wide out there, the split came up and set a little bit of a pick and let the back come up underneath.
Captains will go right back to the ground game, and they'll pick up 3 or 4 by this time by Brown. Nothing fancy right now offensively for the Captains. They're going with Taze Brown, the big running back, mostly, and the short passing game, and also the no-huddle offense.
Yeah, not too much secret here to what they're trying to do. And that short passing game is really just like a long handoff, so it's really similar to them just getting a sweep.
And the first quarter comes to a close here with the Knights trailing 21-7. Knights have had some big plays, including the touchdown run by Simi Moala, but right now the defense has got to find a way to stop the Captains' offense.
They do. The Captains have done really well on third downs. They're converting most of their third downs, even though they've had some big conversions there. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12. Had 2 offside penalties that hurt the Knights, gave the Captains a free play on those, and they converted on both of them.
Now you got the entire second half to go, obviously, Chip, but if you're the Knights, you don't want to fall behind the Captains. If they were to score again, obviously 3 touchdowns. You don't want to fall behind these guys 3 or 4 touchdowns going into halftime.
No, especially when you're in this style of offense. This is not typically a quick-hitting offense, with the exception of Moala's play on that first drive there. Typically, this is a pound it on the ground, eat up the clock, and take your time getting down the field and scoring, giving your defense an opportunity to rest.
Now the Knights are going to maybe, you think, perhaps have their corners a little closer up for the short passing?
There's got to be some adjustment here, because that's really what's hurt them, is that Kearney's, most of his completions have been 4 or 5 yards, and then the receivers are able to turn it upfield and pick up some decent yardage after the catch.
Second down, about almost 5.5 to go for the Captains to start the second quarter, and Kearney wants to throw across the middle. Got another receiver, 46-yard line. Ball was dropped, and great defense by the Knights to jar that ball loose. Otherwise, it would have been a first down in Knights territory.
Yeah, it was a good job by Mitch Orme to get up there and make that hit and jar that ball loose.
And Mitch coming in from behind, jarring the ball loose, and Huge play. It not only wipes out a big gain for the Captains, but forces them into another big third down play.
Yeah, it's a big play by last year's leading tackler.
So Mitch Oram making the play. Now we'll see if the Knights defensively can make a huge play here on a third down. And Kearney wants to throw again. Fires over the middle. Got a receiver. Complete. 50-yard line. First down, Captains near the 50.
Yeah, if the defense is going to give Kearney that much time to throw the ball, he's going to be able to pick things apart here.
Yeah, the Knights would love to get a sack, but they just haven't been close yet. Short pass. That time it works to the disadvantage of the Captains as the Knights were all over that, and it's going to be negative yardage for the Captains as Bergman was there for the Knights. Along with Orm again, it's going to be a loss of 2. Second down, almost 12 to go now for the Captains.
Right, that's the best that the Knights have played that quick pass all night, especially coming back after a big play.
Kearney throwing across the middle, in and out of the hands of the receiver, and almost intercepted by the Knights.
Opportunity
very close there for the Knights. It looked like Troy Owens almost had a shot at it.
Yeah, missed opportunity there. That time there was a little bit of pressure on Kearney, and he tried to get that ball out of his hands a little sooner than he was anticipating.
So it's third down and 11 to go. And again, the Knights defensively trying to make a stop here on third down. Another offsides call,
time.
Another free play, and another completion. Boy, every time there's an offsides call and a free play, the Captains have been able to convert downfield.
They have, and all 3 of those have been on third downs. Kearney's taking advantage of that, that experience as a senior quarterback. He knows what he's got to do there.
So the Captains now suddenly with a first down at the Knights' 32-yard line. Kearney goes over to the right side, another completion, another about a 5-yard pickup. Right there to make the stop, Troy Owens, the freshman out of Richmond, Virginia, but not before the completion for another 5-6-yard completion. Most of these completions are not huge. They're 5 or 6 yards, but they're helping the Captains move the ball down the field. And Kearney will again launch it over. This time it's just a little too far for his receiver to make the catch. He was trying to hit Joshua Davis, and now it's third down and almost 6 to go.
Yeah, a little errant throw there on Kearney's part. It looked like he quite got his feet set, got that ball out of his hands a little quick, and ended up throwing it a little bit wide.
Could be 4-down territory for the Captains. So they may not need to pick up all 5 yards on this third down play.
Almost got him again. Need to hold still there and keep an eye on that ball.
And it looks like a timeout on the field. Actually, I'm starting to think maybe Kearney's thinking about that as kind of an ad-lib extra weapon on third down.
Yeah, it's worked well for him to this point.
And if you're the Knights, it's kind of between a rock and a hard place. You don't want to charge across and get the offsides call, but you want to get some momentum to try to get that first sack of the game.
Yeah, they've only really put pressure on Kearney one time so far in this half.
Football, one of many sports taking place this fall here, Chip. We've got soccer, men's soccer, off to a kind of a rough start here early on, just a couple of games into the season. Struggling with their offense. They've lost a couple. The women's soccer opening up the other day, and women's volleyball with 4 matches in 2 days. Didn't hear what happened in their second match against Guilford, but they split their 2 matches on Friday and won their first match against William Peace today, and hopefully they beat Guilford and maybe a 3-1 start.
Yeah, that would be a great start for the season. They came in ranked 6th in the CAC, so they're getting some respect there and looking at possibly coming in and making a playoff run this season.
And I believe we'll have women's volleyball for you coming up Tuesday night at 7 o'clock against Eastern Mennonite. And a lot of key returnees from last year's volleyball club, including Hannah Allred. So here's a big third down play for the Captains. Again, could be 4-down territory, and it's going to be a draw play. And a great play defensively by the Knights to make the stop.
Great
job. How about that play?
There's Kearney only making his second rush attempt of the game, and he gets stopped by John Malore.
John Malore charging across to make the big defensive play. John, a junior out of Colfax, Washington. Now it's 4th down. success passing the ball in the first half.
Kearney in the backfield by himself.
He's going to do a quick kick. Yep, that's kind of surprising. And it's going to be at the 11-yard line. Boy, you needed 9 yards. It's not like a 4 or 5 yard need, but then again, they've had such success passing, but instead they kick it the other way, and actually it works out probably what they were hoping for. They get it down to the 10-yard line as opposed to maybe coming up short on 4th down and allowing Southern Virginia to start their drive.
Offense deep in their own territory to have to come out from, but it was pretty effective there.
If nothing else, the Knights, they would love to have the 90-yard touchdown drive to get up to 14 points, but if nothing else, they're going to need some first downs to kind of flip the field. And they'll go to the ground game, straight up the middle. Good run by the fullback, Mahalo, all the way to the 17. Picked up 7 yards on that carry.
Yeah, great run on first down. Got a good push by that offensive line and opened up a hole for Mahalo to come off the right side.
Now the Knights need 3 to get to the 20. Yeah, they'd love to score on this drive, but if nothing else, they want at least 2 or 3 first downs.
Yeah, 2 or 3 first downs would be effective here, getting them out of their rough field position, and could get a punt deep in the captain's territory.
Jones going to run the option, pitches the ball, and a good spin move by Wedge. And he's got really nowhere to go. He gets it up to the 18-yard line. Good run by Akiva Wedge just to get a yard or 2.
Yeah, and that's why they're so high on this freshman. He avoids that getting tackled for a loss, makes 2 guys miss, and sometimes, getting back to the line of scrimmage and no gain's better than a loss.
Turns it into a 3rd down and 1. If he doesn't make that spin move, he probably loses a yard or 2. And instead of 3rd and 1, it's going to probably be 3rd or 4 or 3rd and 5.
Yeah, you've got a lot more options here in this position on the field with 3rd and 1.
See if Jones will take it himself or maybe give it off to the fullback. And Jones takes it himself, gets the first down, tie all the way to the 28-yard line.
Jones makes a great decision there. Takes a peek outside at Seth Hansen, and that was enough to freeze that defensive end for a second. He makes a cut back inside and gets a great gain.
And this is exactly the kind of offense you mentioned, Chip, the Knights want. They want to pick up first downs. They want to run the clock. They want to keep the CNU offense off the field.
Yeah, you're right there, Jim. And by keeping them off the field, it keeps their defense off the field as well and gives them an opportunity to take a break.
Jones has a man in motion. Jones will take it himself. Good decision there, and he gets all the way to the 34, 35-yard line.
Yeah, Jones has really got a good command of this offense. Very subtle move there. When he got out to that edge, all he did is flip his shoulder just a little bit towards the running back, and that was enough to make that contain man take a look at the running back, and he makes another good decision to cut inside.
And Ty picked up 5 yards, got it up to the 35-yard line, so almost a 6-yard gain. Call it 2nd down, 4 to go. Knights running some clock here in the second quarter. Down by 14. And on a 2nd down and 4 yards to go, Jones is going to be hit, and he's going to be sacked. Could not escape that sack as a great defensive play by the captains. That was Jamal Spence coming in from the linebacker position. And Ty almost got away, just could not completely get away, and down he goes.
Yeah, Spence did a good job putting pressure on there and then keeping a hold of Jones to not let him get free.
So now 3rd down and long. And that might really upset, unless the Knights can have a big completion, it might upset this drive the Knights had going on. 3rd down, 13 to go. Have to get to the 39-yard line right now at the 26. See if Jones can get protection. He's being chased again. And he stops, throws upfield, and it is going to be picked off by the captains. Guess you could look upon that as a semi-long punt or a short punt if nothing else. But now, due to the turnover, the captains have the football back on the Knights side of the 50 at the Knights' 49-yard line.
Yeah, that's tough there, having to make those back-to-back plays. You take that loss on that sack on 2nd down and puts you in a really tough position.
And the last 2 plays, obviously, the captain's defense was all over Ty Jones.
Yeah, they had good pressure on him both downs and forced an errant throw there.
So the Captains offense back on the field with
Knights defense now needs to take that momentum they had from their last drive and duplicate that and see what they can do here.
Kearney bobbles the ball.
Ball on the ground.
And it looks like his running back alongside of him was able to dive on top of that football. Dandridge making the recovery at the 46 of CNU. It's going to be a 5-yard loss. No, it's been raining out there the last few minutes, and ball might be a little wet.
Yeah, and you got to be thinking about that as a quarterback coming out of the gun there. Knights in a good position here with 2nd and long.
2nd down, 15 to go. Kearney fakes to the running back, tries to keep it, and he is boxed in by a couple of Knights and knocked down. Malore right there again. And Neil Davis. And so now it's 3rd and 15.
Now the Knights defensive line have got to hold their own here and not to jump off sides. Kearney looking to the sideline as they get a play call.
He's got the option to try to get it close to the 40 and then maybe go for it on 4th down or get it all right here. He needs 15 yards though. Pressure by the Knights.
Got some good pressure on that play.
Kearney able to throw that ball, and it is a catch at the 41-yard line. Good diving catch by the wide receiver for CNU. And the catch pulled in by the receiver, Cole Bliss, and that allows the Captains to look at a 4th and short, 4th and 2.
Getting on the ball quick, trying to make it happen here.
See if Kearney takes it himself, gives it off to the running back, Dandridge, and he's piled up at the 40. I don't think he got there.
The Knights defense was ready for that.
They stopped him.
Great job by that defensive line. You know, they've hurt him a little bit on those penalties early on, but they came through right there and got a good push up front and held off the Captains.
3 or 4 defensive players in on that play for the Knights, and that was a huge stop. The deficit stays at 14 points now for the Knights, and they're going to go not only back on offense, but with pretty good field position, their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, 40 is a great place to start. Just down 14, they've got an opportunity here and plenty of time to run some time off the clock here and get down and get a score.
Knights trying to get that signature victory in the New Jersey Athletic Conference against one of the top flight teams in the conference. Signature home win, and I think in both counts, a victory over CNU tonight would qualify for that.
Yeah, it definitely would, and it would give Coach Dupay 2 seasons in a row with an opening win. I don't think anyone else has done that here in their first 2 seasons in there as coaching.
And Mahalo that time able to pick up a couple yards. Got it around to the 42-yard line. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 7 now. Ball to 43. And the Knights down by 14 here, Chip, but they're pretty content to run clock.
They are, and definitely the design of this offense. And again, it gives their defense an opportunity to rest.
Straight ahead of the fullback, 1st down Knights. That was Juka all the way into CNU territory. Got it to close to the 45 of the Captains. Pretty good fullback combination of Juka and Mawala.
Yeah, he's just a freshman coming in, but the coaching staff's high on him as well. Got a couple of good freshman running backs.
Knights have to like their situation here. They're down by 14, but they're moving the football. And if they score, they can get within a single score of the Captains. Still 45 yards to go. Jones, option, left. Over to Caden Knight. Nice cut back, and Caden picks up a 1st down. He's inside the 35, close to the 34. Looks like they'll mark him closer to the 36, would leave him maybe a half yard shy of the 1st down marker.
Yeah, good decision out there by Jones, but a great block out there by the freshman, Avika Wedge, getting a cut block out there and really freeing up that run.
And now the Knights need less than a yard for a 1st down, just outside the Captain's 35-yard line. Knights trail here 21-7.
Yeah, down 14, but in a really good position here.
Knights have Newsom over to the left and Cody Barnes over to the right. And on second down and short, they pitch the ball. Going to be a first down for the Knights and more. All the way to the 31-yard line goes Caden Knight. Knights have a lot of runners who really run hard, bruising runners with authority. Caden Knight is certainly one of those.
Yeah, Caden coming in, giving a little bit more speed out there on that edge.
He's a sophomore. Caden is. Have a first down at the 31-yard line of the Captains.
Good to see those Virginia guys on the roster.
Mahalo back in there at fullback. Jones is boxed in. He's going to be lucky to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, good decision by Jones there just to keep that ball, not make that risk of getting a wild pitch out there and getting back up inside and just keeping it from a turnover.
Looks like he's going to lose a yard back to the 32-yard line. Knights would love to score before halftime and cut that deficit down to 7. Right now it's 21-7.
Got Juka and Akiva back in. And it looks like Coach DePay wants a timeout. Think about this and talk it over.
He recognizes how important this drive is with this team down by 14 points. You know, we talked about Wesley going down, and folks perhaps really shouldn't be overly concerned about Wesley going down. I know that they were the preseason favorite along with Frostburg, but you know, Wesley lost early last year, and what a comeback they had.
Yeah, they did. And they lost early to the same team, Delaware Valley State again last year. And they'll make their adjustments, and they'll get back in line with what they expect to do.
So with the ball at the 32-yard line, we'll see what the Knights do after this timeout. Looking at a second down and 11 to go.
Another thing with Wesley, as we talked about them for a little bit, is they have the next 2 weeks off, and then they will play the College of New Jersey when they get back on schedule. Frostburg, after their big win this week, they will play College of New Jersey next week.
Knights will come back on the field with Juka at the fullback position. Carroll out to the left, and Cody Barnes, the receiver, split to the right. On second down, there's a lot of movement, and this time across the line of scrimmage comes the Captains, and we'll see if this turns out to be offside, and if it does, it's second down and 6 to go. If it's motion on the Knights, it'll be second and 16.
Looks like this one will go against the Knights.
They're going to say illegal procedure, it looks like. And now the Knights are looking at second down and 16 to go. Now the ball's put back to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, definitely not what you want coming out of a timeout. But they just have to go on, play this next play, and see if they can pick up those 5 back.
Well, if they go to the air, they'd love to get it down around the 25 for a makeable third down. And Jones faking to the fullback. Lost the football. Ball popped loose. It looked like Ty maybe grabbed it back from one of the defensive players, because initially it looked like that the Captain's defensive player had possession of the ball, Chip, and then it also looked like Ty was able to out-wrestle him for the ball.
Yeah, he definitely is a scrappy player there and fought back hard to get that ball back.
So now the ball's back at the 39-yard line. And the Knights are looking at third down and 17 to go. The ball at the 39, the Knights have to get close to the 21-yard line of the Captains.
Yeah, and in this situation, you don't necessarily need it all right here, but you definitely want to pick up about half of it.
A good point. They don't have to get all the way to the 21. They'd love to get down at least to the 20, 25, 26 maybe.
Yeah, 25-26 does give them an opportunity to attempt a field goal.
See what Ty Jones decides to do here on third and long. He pitches the ball.
It's a good block on the outside.
Good run by Wedge. Put his shoulder down. He got to the 31-yard line. Going to leave the Knights looking at 4th and 10. That was actually John Harris on the carry. John has been a valuable player for this Knights team as a senior out of Darby, Pennsylvania, and he was able to get the ball down at the 31-yard line. So 4th down coming up for the Knights. And it looks like they may go ahead and punt the football. Be about a 48-yard field goal. They're going to try the field goal, looks like.
Yeah, they have this. Their kicker has got a good leg on him this year, and
Jackson Hatch.
he makes this regularly a practice. And in scrimmage last week against Bridgewater, he hit one from this distance.
48-yarder on the way. Ooh, just sails off a little bit to the left. Looked like he had almost enough distance.
Yeah, it looked like he had the distance, a little left.
If nothing else, that gives him confidence and Coach DePay confidence for using the long field goal in the future. I talked with Coach DePay on Wednesday about that. If you were at the 35, 30-yard line, would you try a field goal? And that's exactly what they tried to do.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need to do that for your kicker there. Make sure that he's in a position there where he's got the distance.
And that series really seemed to be blown up by that 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, especially coming out of a timeout, really killed the momentum.
So the Captains take over at the 31-yard line, closing in on halftime. Knights trailing 21-7. Kearney, play action, throwing deep, right side, man wide open, caught. Pass pulled in Knights territory at the 44-yard line, and just like that, the Captains are on the move.
And first time Kearney's really rolled out. Most of his passes have been right there in the pocket when he hasn't had a whole lot of pressure. And hits that long ball up the sideline.
Captains trying to score before halftime, straight ahead. And this gain will be inside the 40, close to the 39-yard line before the ball carrier is pushed back. It would be a big change of momentum, certainly as we close in on halftime. Instead of the Knights getting that touchdown they were hoping to get to go within 7 points, Captains are obviously hoping to score before halftime and extend that lead to maybe 21.
Yeah, and that would be a big momentum swing right there going to 21 when it could have been 7.
And right now the ball is at the 39-yard line. Second down, 5 to go for the Captains. Long count this time. Quick pass, right side. Tight end Matson pulls it in. He's one of the returning seniors on this team who's just a tremendous tight end receiver, and he makes the grab for the first down.
Yeah, Kearney comes out that time with Brown in the backfield. A little bit of play action. Held the linebackers, and the tight end was able to get out in the flat and then turn upfield and get some good yardage.
31-yard line of the Knights now. And Kearney goes back to the right side. Complete. Short gain that time, just a couple of yards. Got it across the 30, inside the 30 to the 29-yard line to his receiver, Austin Hall. Stops the clock when they pick up about 3 yards on the K. It's been really, for the most part, the short passing game, Chip, that has really hurt the Knights defensively, and you really got to credit Kearney. He's just had pretty good accuracy on his passes.
He has. He just had one that went a little wide. Again, a run-pass option there, and he makes that decision to hit that back and let him run upfield.
Yeah, a lot of the defensive line thought that he had given the ball off. Kearney goes around the right side and then pitches the ball the last second for another first down.
Yeah, the running back Brown did a good job there, especially as a freshman, making it look like he had the ball.
21-yard line. Kearney fires again to the right side. This time the Knights right there to make the defensive play.
Yeah, sometimes you can go to the well a few too many times in a row. Knights ready there and came up and made a play.
Yeah, Bergman making the play that time for the Knights. So now second down and 10, the ball at the 21-yard line. The rain continues to come down here at the fields at Southern Virginia University. Kearney back to pass, goes left side this time. He fires it upfield. It's intercepted by the Knights. There is a flag down. The receiver went down, so we'll see if this is defensive interference after Mitch Orem made the interception, but they're probably going to rule defensive pass interference here.
Yeah, that's tough there. It looked like the defender and the receiver just got their feet caught up, and the defender went down with that, and it looks like we're going to get a penalty against the Knights. First time Kearney's come to his left in a while.
Yeah, defensive holding on Mitch Orem. So it gives the Captains a first down.
Fresh set of downs and good field position. The 11, they can still get a first down here without getting a touchdown.
Full house backfield. They've got big number 34 Brown right behind Kearney. And Brown's going to get it. And he's all the way inside the 10, close to the 6. So what do you think here now with the 14-point lead? Will Kearney keep it on the ground, maybe to himself or perhaps Brown, or will he go to that short passing game 7 yards away?
Well, that short passing game's been good for them, but in this position on the field, it does shorten it a little bit there. And Brown is such a big back, big, strong guy. And when he puts his head down, you see the result there, like on that last play. He picks up a good 5 yards before he gets hit.
And this really would be a big touchdown after this timeout. We'll see what happens from 7 yards away. It would be a big score for Christopher Newport to maybe take a 21-point lead into the locker room at halftime.
Yeah, big on both sides, whichever happens here. If the Knights can dig in deep, possibly get a turnover or get a turnover on downs, at least hold them out of the end zone, maybe possibly hold them to a field goal attempt.
Again, next week the Knights will be playing on the road at Rowan next Saturday night at 7 o'clock, but then they've got back-to-back home games on the 16th and 23rd of September against Montclair and then Kane. As we talked about, a lot of people are rating Kane as maybe the team in the New Jersey Athletic Conference as the up-and-coming team.
Yeah, I think in the coaches poll this year, they were marked as the dark horse. Frostburg took that role last year, and they definitely played that well. And,
yeah, what a shame for the Frostburg Bobcats to get a share of the New Jersey Athletic Conference championship and not make it into the Division III tournament somehow.
Yeah, that was tough. With Mountain Union not winning their conference, they were kind of guaranteed that at-large bid, and there's only 4 of them for the Division III.
So many good D3 schools out there. 7 yards away from the touchdown, and it is going to be Kearney trying to throw, and he's hit it by Bergman and dropped back at the 14-yard line. How about Bergman coming in?
Great job by Bergman recognizing what was going on there. Kearney a little hesitant. Looked like the receiver didn't get his head around when he wanted him to, and Bergman comes up and makes a big sack for the first sack of the game. Big tackle for loss there.
So now it's 3rd down. Ball almost back to the 13-yard line. 3rd and about 12 to go.
Kearney gives a little hard count there to see what the Knights are going to do.
Hoping maybe to get that offsides.
Yeah.
That free play.
It's worked for him several times in the first half.
And the Knights have really stopped doing that the last few defensive series.
I'm sure that they got a little talking to by Coach Mulatalo and Coach Dupay there about not giving them the easy out there with the penalties.
Yeah, it's not just the 5 yards that you could give the other team, but it's the free play too.
Yeah.
And that's the free play that's obviously burned the Knights, because I don't think on any of the offsides calls the captains have actually taken the penalty yardage.
No, they haven't. They've declined all 3 of them, picked up big plays on all 3. All passes to the right side. Kearney definitely has his favorite there going to that right side.
Oh, it rained last night, and looks like it's raining again tonight.
Yeah.
I thought, according to the forecast, it was supposed to be maybe a reduced percentage of rain tonight, but not so far.
No, we've definitely had it wet. Doesn't seem to have made too big of an impact on what's going on with the ball, other than Kearney did have that one snap that he dropped and the running back fell on earlier in the second quarter.
Yeah, we'll see what the captains do. If they don't pick up enough yardage to get to the end zone or get a first down, if they don't get close to the first down marker, then they've got the option of going for a field goal.
Yeah, and they might have to hurry them out on the field if they don't get it. I believe they're out of timeouts now.
Kearney fires for the corner and overthrows his receiver. And now they're going to call defensive interference. It kind of looked like the Knights had pretty good coverage. There was some contact, according to the referees, though, and that really hurts the Knights defensively.
It happened in the end zone, so the ball by rule gets placed on the 2. 1st and goal from the 2-yard line.
So it's 1st and goal for the Captains, and now they're just 2 yards away from a potential 4th touchdown.
As the rain falls a little bit harder here, see what the Captains do. Got that big back in the backfield.
Yeah, one would think number 34 Brown will get the carry here, but we'll see. See if Kearney will just give it to him. No, he's going to take it himself, try to throw, fires, and hits a receiver for the touchdown. And I believe that was Matson, the senior tight end, making a nice grab in the back of the end zone, and now it's 27-7, Christopher Newport.
Yeah, big tight end coming from his left to the right, deep across the back of the end zone. Kearney bought a little bit of time with his feet going to the right, and Matson was able to break free.
See if the captains will go for one or two here. Even when the kicker is out there, as we saw on one of their two-point conversions, it's no guarantee he's going to kick.
Yeah. Looks like the captain's a short one, man.
Yeah, now we got a penalty flag. Illegal substitution is the call. It'll push back the captain's 5 yards. A little bit longer extra point.
A little bit tougher to fake it here. Run that option to your kicker again.
Captain's trying to make a spread 21 points. Right now it's 20. And they hit the extra point for a 28-7 lead.
And that's a big momentum swing there. It's a 14-point difference there. Had the Knights been able to go down and punch it in and eat up most of that clock, then the captains come back, aided by those 2 pass interference penalties on the defensive backs to give them 21-point lead.
Don't know if you can point to one area that has been the difference so far in this first half, but to me, I would think it would be the short passing game.
Yeah, definitely. Kearney has hit a lot of those short passes, very few of them to his left, although early in that first quarter, he did throw to those little bubble screens quite a few times to the left, taking advantage of that, making that just like a long running play. But that has definitely made a difference in keeping the ball in the hands of the captains.
So now the captains will kick off with a 21-point lead.
See if Caden Knight back deep can get a good return here.
Green and Knight are back there to receive this kickoff. For the Knights now trailing 28-7. We'll have Jason Lamb, athletic director for Southern Virginia. Halftime interview coming up. And the Knights are able to get that ball back across the 20 to the 21-yard line, almost the 22. So the Knights will take it right there, trailing here 28-7.
And with just 27 seconds here, let's see what the Knights will do. They decide to just play it safe and take this 21-point deficit into the half. It looks like they're set up here to kneel on the ball.
Knights will have the ball to begin playing the second half. And so it looks like, unless we get a timeout here, that's going to be the halftime score, 28-7 CNU.
Yeah, once they put this ball in play, there shouldn't be any need to snap it again.
And so that'll be the end of the second quarter into halftime. Rainy Saturday night here in Buena Vista, and Christopher Newport chip with that short passing game, among other factors, going into halftime with a 21-point lead at 28-7.
Yeah, they've definitely moved the ball well, had a good difference there between the pass and the run. That big freshman Brown being able to churn up some good yards, that big body, and then Kearney making some good decisions. Throwing that quick pass game and then hitting a few long ones here and there. Definitely have taken advantage of the Knights' mistakes with the penalties there on the defensive line, giving them some free plays.
Well, let's bring Jason Lamb in here and get his thoughts about this first half here from the fields at Southern Virginia University, with the captains on top of Southern Virginia at halftime here, 28-7 in this 2017 season and home opener, Jason. And how about your reaction to that first half?
Well, it's a lot of work to get this put together with the changes in the stadium. We're not fully there with the go date of a full completed stadium. So we're putting things together with seems like I wouldn't say duct tape because it's everything's being done I think as best as it can. But a mass amount of production goes to get this contest put off in a stadium that's not near completion, but almost near completion. So my day started early getting things organized. But to your question, it was great to see us have some stops defensively. It was great to see our offense move the ball, I think, on one possession for the first possession for a score. And then after that, we had some 3-and-outs, but we had some sustained possession. So I feel like the balance of the game has come back together. Unfortunately, we're still struggling a little bit in a couple areas, but I'm thrilled that under the conditions, we've got the crowd we've got the fans here, the energy, we've got a great, with the weather, it's a great day to be a Knight, and it's a lot of work goes into this. I know that Coach Dupay and his group have done a phenomenal job prepping the team. We've got the highest roster we've had in my time here, and our fan base is strong, and so a lot of things are well, and no doubt I'd rather see the score a little more evened out. But other than that, Jim, I think it's been a great day, and we got another half.
Before we talk more about football and other fall sports, again, just kind of recap all the changes we've seen here from a year ago. You mentioned the facilities, the stands are in place, I guess, the locker rooms, all that whole area is ready to go, I guess, in the next few months, the locker rooms, the press box. And, of course, the new colors.
Right. The colors are here, and that's happened. Yesterday was a great day on campus. We had the launch of the iPads to the students, so there's a lot of positive energy on campus for the highest enrollment ever in the history of the school at Southern Virginia. We're 21 years old and over 900 students, and that's an amazing feat. And then to add to that, Energy President launched the iPad initiative where every student, every faculty, every administrator has a brand new iPad Pro, and it's part of an Apple program. We've partnered with Apple, and it gives us this advancement in technology as we prepare our students for the workplace. So that was exciting. And then to add to that, we had Alex Boyer show up, who's a famous musician, does incredible things with music, and he was a surprise show at our forum yesterday. So a lot of exciting things yesterday, and yes, the new colors. This is an exciting time. But the stadium, though, Jim, sure, it's 30 days probably away from where we want it to be. Can't rush those things. But, yes, we'll have the press box, the VIP area. We'll have concession stand, restrooms available. Everything will be up to grade and where we want it, Jim, except for our parking situation. We're still not at a place where we're ready to, address parking like I would like, it's just not part of this year's plan. So we're still going to have parking kind of put together as best as we can. Rainy weather, Jim, made parking impossible. We couldn't park up above or the cars would get stuck.
Oh, sure.
So I know I'm not talking to the fans in the bleachers, but I appreciate their patience. We had to run more shuttles today, and I know that delayed getting some folks into the bleachers. But, yeah, lots of exciting things happening, and great time to be here.
Then night games. This one to open up the season. At the very end of the season on a Friday night, another night game.
Well, and what happens there is we work with these other institutions. We work with a give and take. Last year, we played the last game of the NJAC season at Christopher Newport. It was kind of a celebratory moment for them as they were retiring head football coach and wanted to move the game later in the day. So we accommodated. And when that happens, we flip and say, okay, well, we'll do that for you, and then if you don't mind. And so Coach Dupay really thought this would be a fun thing that we've not done here in a while, which is to have the night game. You mentioned Frostburg, and again, that was also a favorite. Last year, we played the first game of the NJAC season at Frostburg, and they wanted, because it was early this time of the year, August. Well, or then I think it was the last day of August last year, but it was an early first game of the year, and they wanted a night game. But we said, okay, and then the flip was when you come back, you do the same.
So what do you prefer, night games or afternoon games?
Well, I prefer the night games myself. I know Coach Dupay does. There's some advantages to that. But there's some disadvantages. I think the fan base and the fun of it's great, but you have athletes sitting around all day. Our visiting opponents have an extra 6 hours to prepare for us.
Right.
So right now, as we sit here, playing at the very moment, against Christopher Newport, and I'm looking up our opponent for next week because I should have it memorized.
It's
but I don't.
Rowan, another night
so
game.
Rowan,
Yeah.
are they playing at night right now?
Yes.
All right.
They're playing next Friday or Saturday night, 7 o'clock.
Right, but I mean they may be done today, already preparing for us.
Yeah.
Because they're if they played at 1 o'clock, and I don't know
No,
this
I think
for
they're
sure.
playing tonight.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
But that's my point. That
Yeah.
sometimes it's great to play at night. The fan base is fun.
Yeah.
Athletes sit around during the day on Saturday. I mean, they know it's game day when they wake up, but they got to wake up at 6, 7, 8 a.m., whatever that is, and got to be in game mode a lot longer. So that's a downside to it. But the fan base, Coach DuPay likes it. I like it. It's great to have these night games. But there are some takeaways from it.
And, of course, a lot of other fall sports, soccer underway. Both teams have had a couple of games. And
going to Averett, who is picked to be first in USA South this
Right.
year. So yesterday they go 3-0 against Randolph and then 0-3 against Averett. And then today they go 3-0 against William Peace and 0-3 against Guilford. So they walk out 2-2. Really good competition. Hopefully they feel good about that.
yeah,
Men's
they got
soccer.
Easter Mennonite on Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, they get ready. Men's soccer, lost a tough one today to Shenandoah, 2-3, but had to play back-to-back after they played at Ferrum home yesterday in a physical match, but did well. And then you mentioned women's soccer played today, and they opened up at Meredith with a loss. They got lightninged out of a game last night. They were supposed to play in the evening against North Carolina Wesleyan. That game got canceled because of lightning. So, yeah, we're all happening. Cross country's competing today. They ran and took third place at the Mary Washington Triangular. So, yeah. It happens quickly. You go from this summer lull, which is so fun, and things are great and calm, and school starts on a Monday. And
Although you had probably an atypical
bam.
summer, right?
Yeah, well, it's just been fun. It's so fun to get back into it, but it just happens so fast you can't be ready for it. Our staff's coming in at so early in the morning, and athletic staff getting ready for everything from certifying athletes to organizing. The new colors has been an impact in getting the clothing right, and organizing. We've got more athletes than ever. When we say that the student body is over 900, that's phenomenal. But we counted yesterday 456 athletes. Last year, we barely broke. We were 391, I think. So here we are at 456 total athletes,
Wow.
and that's as of today or yesterday. Yeah. That's a count of heads here. We'll add some in January. May lose a few, hopefully not. But we know what's happening. So yeah, so a lot of athletes and a lot of things to do. But that's what's fun about being a member of Southern Virginia University Athletics.
Always great to check out the university's athletic website and check future schedules like basketball and men's volleyball, which was a huge hit in its first season last year.
Yeah, it was. That was we went over the highlights. Our best programs by record last year were men's and women's tennis, which we don't talk at all enough about.
Right.
And then certainly our men's volleyball program was fun and exciting.
Their schedule looked pretty tough this year,
yeah,
this coming season.
Yeah, well, last year was a throw together because of being an independent in the first year and a late start. We couldn't get into the CVC, the Continental Volleyball Conference, as fast as we wanted to for spring 17. But we are in for spring 18. We got a full CVC conference schedule. And as you mentioned, we've added even the non-conference, knowing how to get into the part of the strategy, Jim, is the NCAA playoffs. You got to look at this and say, well, if we're good enough to win the conference, that's great. That's your AQN.
Right.
But if you don't and you end up second, are you strong enough to get to Nat Large? Now, that's not language that I can tell you that in the 3.5 years I've been the AD, we've been talking about with many of our programs. And I don't mean that as a slam as much as a reality to the fact that men's volleyball opened our eyes to the fact that, wow, we better be smart about our scheduling so that if we're strong enough to win the conference, great. But if we just happen to have some bad luck and don't get the AQ and that one championship day, we've got a strong enough body of work to get in as an at-large. And the at-large pool is hard to get in men's volleyball, we found out. So, yes, the schedule's beefed up. But I know Coach Peterson, we brought back just about everybody, if not everybody.
I hear he's got some good new players,
and
too.
some new players. So, men's volleyball exciting. So, but everything feels like it's upgrading.
Hey, looking way ahead, how's men's lacrosse looking for next spring?
Well, we are definitely upgrading as well. And part of that's the initiative of recruiting just takes a few years to get on top of it because of the missionary program and how the athletes leave when they come out of high school and then we don't see them for 2 years. So this has been the year where we've been waiting for Christmas morning and kind of feeling, and we've got a great group of talent coming in that are here, some off missions, some freshmen, some off missions that played for us before. So it's a combination of great things coming in, and will be our best program by far. We've lost some great seniors though, and this is like the first time I could say, boy, you gotta reload. You feel like you made progress, but you lose the Casey Rich, you lose the Greg Gowdy, the Kiwi, the Giroux, and the Ryan Larson. 4 great seniors. Well,
Casey was hoping to continue in lacrosse
yeah,
in some fashion.
It didn't. It didn't quite work. The NCAA and some of the rulings just didn't quite work.
Yeah.
But exciting news for him. In 2 weeks, you wouldn't know, Jim, but in 2 weeks he actually has qualified to try out for the Professional Indoor League.
Wow.
The NLL, which is a tryout up in Canada, and he qualified. So he signed up. He'll be up there in 2 weeks, and this is a full half day Friday, full day Saturday. And then I think they finish up with partway Sunday, and the draft is Monday. So we'll know. Casey could be one of our first professional athletes.
Wow.
And a pretty exciting story. So as much as I'm sad we don't have him here, it's a pretty neat thing.
So what do you look for, I guess, in the second half of this football game now?
Well, so the coach and me, I'll throw out a few thoughts here, but I hope Coach DuPay doesn't want to, slug me. I hope we can get stiffer on the outside defensively. I think our inside with the big boys are doing a great job, and we can interchange them. It's fun to see them run on, run off, and I think our inside game defensively is strong.
Yeah, it's a short passing game.
It's
that
the
is
short
work
outside
for
dip. For me, I call that dip and dunk,
yeah,
and
right.
they're just throwing it stuff out on that edge, and just we don't have the numbers or the athletes. But that edge is just where I think that's the difference in the game. I think that our offense, sure, that fourth down and close, that would have been nice. I couldn't tell from the spot if we got robbed or if that was accurate.
Looked to me like Simi got the first down, but
I know
matter of inches.
It did to us too. We were sitting down on that edge, but. So you get that first down and score there. They don't get the last score. It could be a 21-14 game, and now we're looking at 28-7, and I know that's a big swing. I hope we can fix what we're doing on the edge defensively. Outside that, I think our offense is gaining confidence. I think we're seeing how to sustain drives. And no doubt this team is built around sustaining drives on offense because we can't leave the defense out there that long. So I know Coach DuPay is going to put his mind to that. But maybe then the last thing I would hope for is we get some confidence. And let's just be excited to be a night playing under these conditions with these fans and play a little more upbeat.
Do coaches talk about getting signature home victories? I know in football, they first year in the New Jersey Athletic Conference, they got the conference win. You think there's a whole lot of talk about getting a signature win against a team like CNU or a Wesley or maybe a Frostburg or a Salisbury?
I think that where we're at in the NJAC and in the CAC, we want to be relevant late. That's really the mode and the language. To be competing late in the game, to not be out of the game so early. In the past, a lot of our contests come out fighting, swinging, and things just don't go your way, and it's an early exit, if you will, from it's early that you're not going to be able to pull it out. So right now I get a feel, and we talk about this as coaches, that we've got to be relevant as we get in late into the game and give ourselves a fighting chance. For example, last year we had our women. Let's talk women's volleyball again. Last year we lost 5 fifth sets, 5 of them. So get to the 5th set, right? And it's that's the 5th set, and we lost all 5. So for them, they can say, well, it's not about being relevant late. It's about finishing. I think a lot of other teams, though, and maybe football falls into that category, and certainly men's lacrosse did last year. Let's be relevant in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
That's the ambition. They say the analogy is lose big, lose small. Win small, win big. You have to progress through that. We've been losing big, and I think now we're starting to lose small. When you start losing small, that means you're in it late, and you're talking about flipping from, not being confident maybe to flipping over to confident. When you know you have the talent and the strategy to do well, that last piece sometimes is confidence. I see that in this team. I see that we're good enough to run with Christopher Newport, who finished, 4th last year, been nationally ranked many times. This looks like a team that's going to do well this year, Christopher Newport. And we've seen we can play with them. Yep. We just don't make tackles and reads correctly. We don't finish. And certainly offensively, a few things we're not doing to sustain drives. But I know Coach DuPay is going to fire them up and get them to the point, let's get this thing done. He'll make those adjustments. But, yeah, we've got to battle in a way that keeps us in the game late. And then we start, worrying about going from losing small to winning small.
Well, certainly the good news this year is Ty seems to be 100% healthy.
Yeah, he does. I was at the game last year up at Earlham and drove all the way up and watched the opener up there. Just felt like I needed
That was
to
a long
support.
drive.
Yeah, well,
All the way to Richmond, Indiana.
I got to tell the truth. I flew up because
Okay.
I was involved with the fireside. But no, I went up and watched them play. The opener last year was Coach DuPay's first game. Wanted to support him, and it was like literally. I'm telling you, it was like the third play from scrimmage, and Ty just got rolled up like a roller. This big guy got him, and they just rolled. And if it wasn't his collarbone or shoulder was going to snap, it would have been his spine.
Sure.
So yeah, it was unfortunate. The guy pounded on him, a big guy, and he just didn't roll through the situation, and he was out. And then it took him a while to get back. In fact, there was this Christopher Newport game last year at the end of the season that he couldn't play. He had a migraine on top of that, and we just didn't have the depth to play that game against Christopher Newport. So. But, well, let's hope we can come out and fire up and get after these guys and play our brand. We've got the bodies. The highest roster, 96 guys. We've never had 96, and Coach DuPay's and his staff's done a great job recruiting. So we just got to get these guys fired up.
By the way, last question. I don't know if you can answer this. Maybe it's more of an academic, but you mentioned 900. Are they still trying to get up to 1,200 within the next 5-10 years? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think it happens in 2.
Okay.
At the growth we're going, we're growing at like 12%, which is unheard of. And I think President mentioned yesterday at the forum, he feels we're the largest. Well, I don't know what the term is. It's the highest growth percentage in the country. Nobody's growing at 12%.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, I think certainly in our liberal arts small school. I mean, maybe I guess a big school could be growing that much. I don't know. But in the small school, less than 2,000 or 2,000 and under type school, liberal arts kind of education, we're growing at 12%. That's unheard of. So to the point that you're asking, sure, if we grow at 12% in the next 2 years, we're going to be at 1,200 2 years from right now. And great things will come from that, both in financially as well as facilities and all things will continue to grow and progress. Credit needs to be given where credit is due, Jim. This is all President Wilcox. His vision for this campus and where we need to go, how we maintain growth without compromising what we are. We are what we are. We're a faith-based environment of like-minded individuals who have a desire to be together in a protective environment, right? It's protective spiritually. We want to make sure that we can all grow in the ways that we want to on this campus, and so growth can't be we can't compromise to grow. So growth is happening, yes, but we're also standing strong to the values and the aims and missions of the university. And President Wilcox bringing all this energy, this iPad launch. Alex Boyer, I don't know if everybody knows, so for the 3 people to 300 people listening, I don't know what our numbers are, but, Alex Boyer, whose videos get like 7 to 10 million hits on YouTube, he's coming to do a music video here in 30 days with the students out on the turf. He's already announced it, and he's got a, Magic Dragons, song he's going to sing, and so and do. So the students are jacked about that. We've got the iPad initiative, new colors, and growth. And by the way, shout out, we've added men's and women's golf. So we got one more thing to talk about. And our golf coach with Coach Blair Garner has brought in 10 quality 5 male, 5 female golfers, and we're excited to drive into the Capital Athletic Conference.
Something else to look forward to.
Another thing.
Yeah. We'll let you get back to work.
Jim, thank you for all you do. This is fantastic.
Take care, Jason.
All right, see you, bye.
Jason Lamb, Athletic Director, once again for Southern Virginia University, with the Knights trailing here at halftime, 28-7. And Chip Erickson will swing back over, and we'll talk about these first half stats before the second half of action gets underway, with the Knights again down here 28-7 at halftime. And Chip, when you look at these halftime numbers, anything really leap out? As Jason Lamb was just telling us, obviously, with the short passing game is something the Knights are going to have to try to stop defensively in the second half.
Oh, definitely. Looking over these statistics, I knew it was Kearney had a high percentage, but he's completing 86% of his passes right now. He's 24 of 28 on that
Amazing
half.
percentage with 3 touchdowns, too, yeah.
Yeah, with 235 yards passing, the Knights have got to do a better job defensively there.
Knights allowed 20 first downs to CNU in the first half and only had 8 first downs themselves. They rushed the ball, the Knights did, for 110 yards in the first half and outgained the CNU captains on the ground, but obviously the passing yardage, drastically different story. 235 passing yards for CNU and just 32 passing yards for the Knights.
Yeah, and you're going to kind of expect that with the Knights as they go along, but that is a pretty big disparity there. And with those first downs, you know, 3 of those came on those free plays that should have been a 4th down, or at least, you know, make them have some contention in there for that 3rd down.
So the Knights, who won the opening coin toss and defer to the second half, will get the ball to begin play here in the 3rd quarter. And down 28-7, Chip, the Knights really could use a long time-consuming drive that results in 6 points.
Definitely could, and I think it's important here, and I'm sure Coach Dupay drilled that into their heads. That half's over. Can't do anything about it. Come out here, get a good sustained drive here. Everybody do their job. Get a decent field position here on the kick return and see what happens in the second half.
So the Knights down by 21 as we start second half play. We'll receive this second half kickoff. And pretty much like most of the kickoffs, they get it back to around the 25-yard area.
Yeah, he's done a good job getting it back into that same area each time on the field.
Caden Knight on the return. Now the Knights would love to score on this series and climb back into this game and only be down by 14. The danger obviously is at this particular point, going into the second half, you really can't fall behind any further and hope to actually get a victory tonight.
Yeah, especially if you're going to eat time off the clock. You definitely need to tack on a score at the end of that possession.
Mawala is the fullback, and he'll get the carry. Fights through 1 tackle and ends up picking up about 3 yards.
Yeah, they go back to Mahalo just like they did to start the first series. Important to get that fullback involved and keep him involved. Keep those interior defensive linemen honest.
Second down, almost 7 to go here for the Knights, just shy of their 28-yard line. Obviously, they would like to run clock to keep CNU's offense off the field, but on the flip side, you're down by 3 touchdowns. If you want to try to obviously make a comeback in this game, you can't run too much clock.
No, they've got to try to get their drives 4, 5, 6 minutes maybe at the most. They don't want to run 10 minutes off here and not get a score at the end.
And they'll go with the option. And the pass or the pitch goes behind Wedge. Wedge trying to knock the ball out of bounds. And a huge loss there.
Yeah, I think Ty Jones might have faked out his running back there when he gave him a peek and then looked back to the inside.
Yeah, it almost looked like Wedge was not expecting that pitch.
Yeah, they were, as far as that goes, they were a little bit close to each other. And that pitch came off kind of hot.
So now the ball's all the way back at the 19-yard line, and the Knights are looking at 3rd and about 16 to go.
Typically passing down here. We'll see what Jones does.
And they lose the football in the running play. A fumble picked up by the captains, and they've got 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line. They gave it to the fullback, Mawala. He got hit from the side. The ball popped loose, and only a CNU defender there to pick up that loose ball.
Man, it did look like Mawala had some room to run as he came through the middle of the field there. I think CNU was expecting the pass, figured they could give up a little bit of yardage there in the run, and the linebacker came through and just popped that ball out.
You know, Coach DePay did not want to start the second half with a turnover.
No, this is a tough spot on the field again for this defense to have to dig in their heels.
So the captains are in business. This is their best starting position, I think, on any drive tonight. The 29-yard line of the Knights, with the captains already on top here, 28-7. Kearney hands it off. Good defense by the Knights to shut down Brown, the fullback. He is knocked backwards for about a 3-yard loss.
Yeah, good job there by the defensive interior line, getting a push, not giving Brown anywhere to run.
That might have been Ty Clay coming in almost untouched to knock the ball carrier down for that 3-yard loss. So it's 2nd and 13. Kearney looks left, wants to throw back to the right. He's got 2 receivers. It sails over one guy's head, Brown's head, and goes right to the receiver, Austin Hall, who makes the grab and gets positive yardage out of it.
Yeah, and there's also a flag on the play. Looks like the referee actually blew his whistle pretty quick. The receiver was still running up the field when that whistle was blown.
See if this goes against the captains after that gain they had. Roughing the passer against the Knights.
Well, that's tough. I finally get to Kearney, but it's a little bit late and brings up a big penalty.
So we had the turnover and now a huge penalty against the Knights. And as a result, it'll be CNU ball, 17-yard line of Southern Virginia. Captain's going to load up the left side with 3 receivers. Let's see if they go to that short pass over to number 80. Nope, they're going to go with the ground game. It's Brown busting it up the middle, and he's down inside the 10.
Yeah, there's Brown. As he averaged 4 yards a carry in the first half, he comes right back after getting tied up on his previous run for a negative yardage there and picks up a big play here.
Tage Brown, only a freshman, 6 foot, 220 pounds, out of Gloucester, Virginia. Got it down to the 10-yard line. They go to Brown again, and not much this time on the right side, maybe a yard or two down close to the 8.
Yeah, defensive line was a little more ready up inside there that time. The Captains didn't spread the field quite as much. So he had some help from the linebackers there to bring Brown down.
Big play here. 3rd down, about 2.5 to go. Kearney will throw, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Matson, the tight end. Had him out there, and if he throws it right on the money, most likely it's going to be a first down because Matson would have been able probably to advance the ball by another yard or 2.
Yeah, he had an opportunity there to pick that one up, but I think he was hurried a little bit by Ty Clegg, number 44 for the Knights, coming off the edge. One of the few times that they've put some pressure on Kearney.
26-yard field goal attempt now. As the Captains will try to make it a 31-7 game. And they hit the field goal to go on top here, 31-7. So the Knights defense able to hold Christopher Newport to the 3 points, keeping them out of the end zone, and now it's back on the offense, which fumbled on its first series of this third quarter.
Yeah, and right there, that's I think got to chalk that up for a win for the defense. You know, the Captains started really good field position. Knights had that big penalty and gave Christopher Newport really a good opportunity to make this a 4-score, big 28-point lead, and they end up holding them just to with 4 scores at a field goal. Could be a big difference there if the Knights can do something here on their second possession of the second half.
And down by 24, you think the Knights will change their offensive philosophy or pretty much stick with the original game plan?
I really don't. After talking to Coach Dupay, and he's really big about it. It doesn't really matter where you're at, what you do. His philosophy is you come out, you play your game, you do your job, no matter where you're at or on the field or what's going on with the scoreboard. But you would think at 24 points, you might have to put that ball up in the air and try for a quick score at least once or twice on these drives.
Knights play on the road. Their first road game coming up next Saturday night at Rowan. And then back-to-back home games on September the 16th against Montclair State and September the 23rd against Kane.
And mentioning Rowan, they were up 3-0 at halftime tonight.
Saw Rowan last year. Their offense kind of struggled, but they did have a pretty good defense last year.
Yeah, and you can do a lot there if your defense can keep you in the games.
You go back maybe, 10 years or so, and Rowan always seemed to be in the Division III playoffs quite a lot. And then obviously teams like Wesley joined the conference, and suddenly Rowan, still a top 5 team usually in the conference, but boy, it's hard to unseat a team like Wesley.
It is, and then you've got Salisbury up there as well, who runs this same style of offense, which is tough to defend, and Frostburg coming in and making a lot of noise in the conference. Good
CNU team this year. Looks like they won 7 games last year and are trying to perhaps win at least as many games, even though they really, as we talked about, suffered some tough graduation losses. They lost their number 1 running back. They lost their number 1 wide receiver, too. But it helps to have that experience like Kearney at quarterback.
Definitely. And they did lose the only head coach they've known to this point, which will make a big difference getting used to a new head coach and what his philosophy is and what his expectations are. But it looks like they put some good things together.
2nd and 8 here for the Knights. They go to the fullback. Nope, they pitch over to the left side. And around the end, good defensive play by the Captains. Made on the far side by Jiggets, who came up and made a good stop around the left side.
He did. He played really good assignment football. That was one of those opportunities when it looked like The quarterback there probably could have looked him off on that pitch and then kept that ball back inside, where he's had some good success early in this game.
And now the Knights are looking at 3rd down, 8 to go. They have struggled to get first downs here in the second half so far. Had a turnover on their first series. Here on series number 2 of the second half. Looking at a 3rd down, 8 to go.
And definitely do need to pick up some here at least to get them out of rough position there if they decide to punt.
Little misdirection. They go straight up the middle and maybe got a yard, and that's about it. And the Knights will have to punt. So Juka, the fullback, straight up the middle, got a yard. But Southern Virginia's going to have to punt, not able to pick up a first down. This is not the way the third quarter wanted Coach DePay wanted it to go.
No, definitely not what he was looking for. And here on 4th and 7, definitely got a punt here and hope to flip this field position a little bit.
Horman will punt. Last time he was out there to punt back in the first half, the ball sailed over his head, and it wound up being CNU's ball at the 2-yard line. Yeah, it looks like maybe delayed game against the Knights. See if they took too much time. Yep, 5 yards.
That's tough there, especially in this spot on the field. You don't want to give up that 5. Here you definitely want to flip the field position, but don't give Christopher Newport any better field position.
Yeah, 31-7 at this particular point. If the Captains are able to get another score, a touchdown especially, this game might be over. Right now it's a 24-point deficit. This snap goes back to Horman, and he got it off. Going to be returnable at the 32-yard line.
Takes a pretty good bounce, but he gets a couple of good blocks.
But good downfield coverage by the Knights. Several Knights were there to make the play downfield, including it looked like James Reynolds and also Trayson Thomas.
Yeah, it was a good job there by Thomas as a freshman, doing his job there, getting downfield, keeping the contained, and then exploding through his hips there and making a good open field tackle.
And considering where Horman was punting from, actually not bad field position as far as the Knights would be concerned, having CNU start at the 34-yard line.
Would have been nice to have that 5 yards there from that penalty as well.
Kearney going to throw on first down. And he wings it to Brown coming out of the backfield for a big gain. Malore finally knocks him down, but not before he crosses the 45 and goes up to around the 48-yard line for a first down. Brown coming out of the backfield wide open for that pass.
Brown with his first catch of the game there, circling out of the backfield. Without giving some pressure to Kearney, he has a good opportunity to look the whole field over.
Now we got another penalty flag. Inside pass. We'll come to Austin Hall. See what the penalty is, though. See if the penalty will go against the Captains and wipe out that first down reception.
Captains have played a pretty clean game so far as penalties go.
Illegal formation wipes out the reception. 5-yard penalty against the Captains.
A little break there for the Knights. Need to take advantage of this.
So it'll be 1st and 15 for the Captains. They are back to their 43-yard line. Kearney will throw over to the right. Got a couple of blockers ahead of the receiver who makes the grab, and it's a short gain. Neil Davis right there. You know, if you're the Captains and you're on top by 24 in the third quarter, you probably wouldn't be averse to running some clock, but that's just not the way their offense seems to work.
No, it seems like they definitely are taking advantage of that short pass. That's probably about the 20th time that Kearney's done that in this game, and he's been very effective, even though he has a big back there with Brown.
2nd and 12. Kearney again, right side. Nice play by the receiver to get away. He loses the football. Austin Hall lost it. And let's see if he recovered his own fumble at the 40, which would be a first down, and he did.
Looks like that ball took a good bounce coming back to the receiver. Again, Kearney going short. The receiver getting some good yards after the catch.
Kearney will go back to Hall. We got a penalty.
Knights had too many men on the field. Didn't get off quite in time.
And if that's the case, they'll just take the penalty yardage and keep it first down. So we do have too many men on the field. Illegal substitution against the Knights. 1st and 5 for the Captains.
Yeah, several mistakes there by the defense tonight on penalties. Those little 5-yarders keep adding up for him.
Ball at the 35, 1st and 5 for the Captains. They're on top here, 31-7. Midway through the third period.
This formation, the last time they've used it, they like to give it to Brown, following that big tight end.
And they give it to Brown. He circles left side, breaks a tackle. Good gain all the way to the 26-yard line. Finally wrestled down by, again, Neil Davis right there to make the play. And Cloward. Yeah, but Brown was able to shake off a tackler 5 or 6 yards further back upfield.
That big freshman runner is just going to keep getting stronger as the game goes on, too.
Kearney, wide open receiver at the 18-yard line. Austin Hall with another move, and he gets another first down, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like there's not much of an adjustment that's been made by the defense there. They keep giving up that quick pass.
Of course, they lost Joshua Christopher at the very beginning of the game at quarterback, and then Owens is trying to, you look like he's giving a bit of a cushion to Hall, and Hall's taking advantage of it, not just catching the ball, Chip, but also getting yards after the catch.
Yeah, he definitely knows where Owens is behind him. Knows he's playing off that deep, and he's able to get, once he makes that catch, he's able to get his head turned around and make one move, and Owens is too far away to adjust to it and come up and make a tackle.
So the ball's at the 15-yard line. And it is 1st and 10 for the Captains, who already are on top here in the third quarter by 24 points. Brown again up the middle. Short gain. Knights stack him up. Limit the gain maybe to 2 yards that time, down to the 13-yard line.
Good job there by that interior defensive line, not letting the offensive line push them off the ball. With the substitution there after the last play, number 92, Tuiaki, going out with what looks like to be a leg injury.
Interesting to see how this changes, or perhaps I guess impacts the Knights when their next opponent will be next Saturday night on the road at Rowan. Rowan offense completely different, Rowan team completely different than the CNU team we're seeing tonight.
Certainly have a different look there.
And Brown over the 10-yard line. He's inside the 10, close to the 8.
Brown is a freshman. He's sure looking good and strong. One thing I've noticed with him is he'll have 2 runs here in a row where, you know, he might get bottled up a little bit on the first one, but he comes right back and makes up for it on that second run.
And he does not seem to be getting tired at all.
No. Definitely powerful.
Third down, about 3.5 to go. Could be 4-down territory, so if CNU wants to, they can throw here. But they're going to go to Brown, who shakes off a tackler and goes into the end zone.
Goes into the end zone with punishing fashion as well after shaking off that tackler.
Looked like he was hit and might be down around the 10-yard line in the backfield, but as you mentioned, Chip, he was able to get away from that tackler, and once he did, no one really had a hand on him.
No, he had a free lane to the end zone from that point.
So the lead now 30 points, 37-7.
And the captains on that drive relied heavily on Brown's legs. Kearney did have a couple of throws to that outside again, some quick passes to the right side, which he's really taken advantage of since the beginning of the game. But it looks like they've put a lot of emphasis on Brown, seeing what he can do, and I would expect that we'll see Brown on quite a few more carries as the game progresses.
And now down by 31, the Knights really aren't thinking so much comeback or victory as just trying to get their offense going. They get on their very first series of the game, that long touchdown run by Simi Moala, and they have not scored since.
No, and even though they've moved the ball well a few times, they've had some penalties that have hurt them. That last drive, they had that errant pitch, and then they had a fumble coming right back after that. Put them in a bad position there.
I know they were hoping to make a charge offensively in the second half, but they've had problems with turnovers, penalties, and just have not been able to pick up first downs in the second half.
No, and offense is so much about momentum and consistency, and it just the Knights just have not been able to find anything with that in the second half, definitely.
So Caden Knight is back deep, along with Albert Green from Tucson, Arizona. Knights hoping for a big return to give the offense some pretty good field position. And Caden Knight, good return, 30-yard line. Caden gets it up close to the 35.
Knight's best return of the night for the Knights, getting up there to almost the 35-yard line.
This drive will start at the 34, and we'll see if the Knights can get some offense going, some first downs, and take the ball down the field. They have just the one touchdown, long touchdown run back in the first quarter by Simi Moala that actually put the Knights on top in this game 7-6. Christopher Newport has scored the last 32 points.
On the experience there, you see that defensive lineman cross, you've got to snap that ball. Get those free 5 yards, make it 1st and 5. Put a few first downs in a row together here and get that offense moving.
Jones just barely got that pitch away for a short gain and a late penalty flag.
Looks like number 23 for the captains brought him down a little bit late out of bounds. Tack on 15 yards to that run. Be the Knights' best field position of the second half.
So we'll go against CNU. Give the Knights some extra yardage on the penalty. And the Knights will have the ball now in CNU territory at the captain's 47-yard line.
With a great opportunity here. Take advantage of that penalty. Put this drive together, get down, get a score, have some consistency, and just use that motivation to motivate the defense a little bit.
Wedge gets the pitch. He gets a good run. He gets all the way down to the 25-yard line. Akiva Wedge, the sophomore from Forestville, Maryland, with a great gain. And he had a big hole to run through, too.
Yeah, that was a nice run out there by Akiva getting on that edge. And big play there by John Harris being unselfish as that other slot back coming out, making a good cut block, getting the defender off his feet, which gave Avika a nice open field.
And so now the Knights are trying to get their second score of the game.
Back into that pistol look.
And Jones around the left side gets a good gain. He's down to the 22-yard line before he's belted right there. Hit hard by B.J. Hill, a linebacker for CNU.
Hill comes up and puts a good lick on Jones there, but he's a tough kid. Running this offense, he knows he's going to take some shots, and he's definitely not afraid of that. He makes a good read there, cuts back inside, and picks up some good yardage for the Knights again.
Second down for the Knights, almost 6 to go. 22-yard line of CNU. Jones hands the football to the fullback. Good gain, almost got the first down. Looks like he's going to maybe a half yard to a yard short.
Nice push there by the right side of the Knights offensive line.
Good run by Simi Moala, who got the only score of the game so far for the Knights on a long touchdown run back in the first quarter.
This will be the only the third time the Knights have been in the red zone tonight. They're 0 for 2 in their first opportunities. See what they can do here. Keep that momentum going and maybe punch this ball in.
3rd down and short, and it'll go to pitch. And Green gets the pitch, and he gets hammered back at the 20-yard line by 2 or 3 defenders.
Yeah,
might have been better off at that point or early on in the play, obviously, to give the fullback the ball again.
Yeah, definitely could have done that there. The defense just played great assignment football there. Linebacker stretched that thing out, and we're right there as the pitch was made.
So instead of a 3rd and 1, now it's 4th down and almost 3 to go. Knights will go 4th down here by 38-7 count.
So you got Harris in the slot, a little bit different formation.
And Jones hands it off to Simi Moala, and he gets the 1st down. He's all the way inside the 10, close to the 6.
Yeah, great vision there by Moala. Things bottled up a little bit to his left, put his foot in the ground, made one cut back to the inside, and got plenty to pick up that 1st down.
Juco will replace Simi, and the Knights have it 1st and goal, trying to get their 2nd score of the game. Timeout on the field as the Knights would like to get that 2nd touchdown. Simi Moala had the 1st touchdown in the 1st series of the football game for the Knights to actually give them a 7-6 lead in this game. And since then, Christopher Newport has outscored the Knights 32-0.
And there's been a good mix here between runs to the fullback and getting out on that edge. Christopher Newport, Art Link there, didn't like what he saw, didn't like the momentum change, decided to take a timeout, talk to his guys about it. I'm sure he's telling them, you know, you guys have got to do your job. Each man do your job, step up, do your assignment, and hold these guys out.
And right now, the Knights down by 31. Still the 4th quarter to come, but I would imagine the Knights are just trying to play good football, not make mistakes, and maybe build some momentum for the Rowan game, the first road game of 2017 next Saturday night.
Yeah, definitely a game of momentum. If they can do something here, and just give them an opportunity to have some success here on offense.
1st and goal from the 7. One receiver to the left, 2 to the right. Juca the fullback. And Juca gets the ball, and he is hit and knocked down, and also a flag in the backfield. Harris thinks he was knocked down in the secondary.
Yeah, I think this one's going to go against the Knights. John Harris came out, he cut blocked that safety coming up, and I think he got him a little bit too much to the outside.
Totally away from the action, too.
Yeah, definitely.
So totally unnecessary. And that hurts when it's 1st and goal from the 7-yard line.
Yeah, if you're going to come out and make that cut block, you got to get that inside leg there. And he came out, got a little bit too far past him, and got an illegal block right in front
below
of the
the waist is a call against the Knights. So it's still 1st and goal, but way out now from the 7-yard line with a penalty yardage all the way out to around the, let's see where they put it down, or around the 22 it looks like.
Yeah, that's a big penalty right there.
Well, here's where the Knights don't necessarily have to get all 22 yards in one play, but they would love to get it back inside the 10 here. Still 1st down.
Even getting close to the 15 on this one.
There's the movement across the line. That's hopefully going to be offsides against CNU.
I think we're going to get an illegal shift.
Which would be 5 yards for the Knights and back them up to the 27. Yep, looks like it's going to be 5 yards. False start. The call against Southern Virginia. They're back to the 27-yard line of CNU, 1st and goal from the 27.
Yeah, right there. Both the running backs can move there as long as they get set. But what happened is when they moved, the offensive lineman moved as well. So 2 big penalties right there in a row. Momentum killers, drive killers.
See if Ty Jones will decide to put the ball in the air now. With a couple of backs behind him. Jones runs the option, pitches the ball. Caden Knight, great play, gets out of bounds, and he got down to the 17-yard line, so he got a lot of the yardage back.
Yeah, good job by Knight there, maintaining his balance after getting that first hit. It was a pretty big hit, He's able to stay on his feet and pick up another 5 or 6 yards after that initial contact. Good block on the outside there by the wideout, helping to free that up as well.
And if you decline the field goal, you've got 3 shots to get 17 yards now. Newsom is split to the left. And Peters is over to the right.
Again, they're able to get the defensive line to move, but not getting a snap there to get that free 5 yards.
And Jones, the quarterback, pitches left to Green. Green cannot turn the corner. He is gang tackled back at the 17-yard line. He'll lose maybe a half yard, and now the Knights are looking at 3rd and goal from the 17-yard line.
When you're going to get that pitch out there, you can't get quick feet right there and make some steps. You've got to make your decision, get that pitch, and just stay to the outside and pick up what you can get. Green made it a little bit easy there for the tacklers to catch up to him by not making a strong decision there.
So we'll see what the Knights decide to do here. 17 yards away. They've got 2 plays to work with, 3rd and 4th down. And the Knights are going to take a timeout.
Yeah, it's probably a good decision here. Take a timeout, talk about it, get the right play call. Jones has only thrown the ball 3 times. Might be a good opportunity here to try to pick up about half of that yardage or so. Get him a little bit closer.
Yeah, we talked about it at halftime. At the halftime numbers, the passing yardage drastically different. Jones really hasn't thrown the ball too much tonight, and boy, Kearney has just had an amazing accuracy. His number of incompletions very sparse.
In that first half especially, he was 24 of 28, and Jones only threw the ball 3 times in the first half.
Right.
And Kearney comes in, he barely has fewer completions than Jones has attempts. So this might be a good position here to take a look at throwing the ball.
Well, 17 yards away, unless they decide to go for a field goal on 4th down. They've got 2 shots to get 17 yards on 3rd and goal.
And they bring Harris out wide. Haven't seen him in that position yet tonight.
And Jones throws complete at the 8-yard line. That was Peters making the catch.
Good job by Peters to bring that ball in. I don't know if Jones just couldn't see him with what he had in front of him, but looked like he had Michael Carroll at making a good run there to the end zone. And the defender kind of got caught in between Peters and Carroll, and Jones decided to take the short throw. And coming to the end of the 3rd quarter here, the Knights elect to not run a play, take the ball to the other end of the field to start the 4th quarter. Get some momentum there to start the 4th quarter and look at getting a score.
And so now you start the 4th quarter looking at a 4th and goal from the 9. You could either go ahead and try to kick the field goal, or you could go for it on 4th down. We'll see what the Knights decide to do here.
Definitely do have that option of either one. I think that Coach DuPay knows what he's got in his kicker. I think this is a good gut check opportunity here for the offense. Give that offensive line, whether they decide to run, maybe Moala again up the middle, give the quarterback a run-pass option here, or just let him drop back, maybe run the same play or a similar one there, and take a look at the big frame of Michael Carroll in the back of the end zone.
Well, the Knights do have some good receivers. We just saw Crosby Jensen make that catch that got the Knights inside the 10-yard line on a 3rd down pass play. Just haven't passed the ball that much tonight, certainly not as much as CNU has thrown the ball.
No, not at all. And that is a good job there by Jensen, who is converted from a quarterback position. He came in here to play quarterback a couple years ago when Coach Walker took over as a transfer from Snow College.
Yep.
Had some injuries and decided to move him to the slot receiver position.
Always interesting when you start out at one position as a freshman, and by junior, senior, you're completely in a different situation.
Yeah, and actually with the Knights right now, they have 3 guys that are playing the receiver position who came here as quarterbacks. You've got Cody Barnes, who's a senior.
Yep.
Started as a wideout there, number 15. He's played a lot in that position. And Jack Samiski, who came here with Coach Walker as a quarterback, and he's also a receiver, and Jensen.
Let's go for the field goal. And Hatch hits it.
And just wanting to get some points there on the board. Make it a 38-10 difference.
So Jackson Hatch hitting a 26-yard field goal to make it 38-10 here in the fourth quarter. And if nothing else, that's another area where the Knights have seen, Hatch missed, not by much, a long field goal, hits that short field goal. And we'll see if the kicking game, the place kicking game, comes into play for the Knights maybe later in the season.
Yeah, and hopefully it does in a positive way. Come in and they had that heartbreaker last year in that 4 overtime game where they missed several field goals, one in regulation that could have put it away. Would have been a big home win. Missed a couple in overtime, and then College of New Jersey was able to connect on a field goal to win that game.
Yeah, the Knights, we mentioned that in the pregame, they were 2-8 last year, but you look at that game, you look at the Rowan game that they were in, tremendous defensive effort, that Rowan game by the Knights, and certainly they could have had at least 4 wins last year.
They could have, and that would have been, probably exceeding expectations with the new coaching staff coming in, a new offense. This triple option, it's a little tough to get used to, that especially on the wideouts blocking and those offensive linemen knowing where their assignment is and who not to block at the right time.
This year the Knights were picked, I think, 3rd from the bottom of the New Jersey Athletic Conference with William Patterson and the College of New Jersey underneath them. Montclair just ahead of them. Surprisingly, CNU was picked, I think, 6th in the preseason prognostications, and they got a good return on this kickoff all the way up near the 45-yard line.
Yeah, short kick, good return with that. Missed a little bit of contain out there on that outside.
The way we see it, a long way to go, obviously, this just being the first game of the year, but you wonder, boy, was CNU perhaps underrated in the early rankings, being picked 6th with Kane, I guess, and Rowan, and obviously other teams like Wesley and Frostburg ahead of them.
Yeah, it could be that way. Losing your top receiver, top running back, and then your head coach.
Yep.
Not really sure what to expect, but Kearney has done a good job leading this team in this first game.
And good starting position here for CNU on this drive, 46-yard line. Kearney throws it outside, but that time the Knights waiting on the receiver to make the catch. Great defensive play by the Knights that time. That was Chandler Young coming up and making the play, the freshman from Idaho.
That's a good job by Young. Guess he's seen that enough so far in this game that he was able to jump that and get around that blocker and make a good play.
Well, that's the other thing, too. It's been not only the accuracy for Kearney, but receivers blocking for other receivers that have really helped the CNU offense tonight. That's a completion to the 49-yard line, complete to Kerry Weaver.
Good job by Weaver going down to get that ball. Probably Kearney's only weakness of the night a little bit is thrown to his left.
3rd and 9, 47-yard line for CNU, their own 47. And he'll go to a pass pattern and complete to the back at the 47 of Southern Virginia. Coming out of the backfield, James Stinnett making the catch, and that's going to bring a 4th and short for CNU, so we'll see if they go for it or decide to kick.
Kearney's done a good job there, too. He's scanning the field. If it's not there, he's not afraid to dump it underneath to his running back.
And I think that's going to be another offsides call, another free play. Kearney going to throw to the right side. He overthrows his receiver this time, threw to 2 receivers who were in a crowd with 3 defenders. Yeah. But it's going to be offsides, I believe, on the Knights, and that would give CNU a first down.
4th time tonight, the Knights have jumped on a 3rd or 4th down and short, and Kearney's been given a free play. He's come to his right on a throw every time, and that's the first time he hasn't completed it.
The Captains get a first down thanks to the penalty. Kearney will give it to Stinnett. He's got a big hole to run right into the secondary, all the way to the 23 of Southern Virginia. Stinnett taking over for Brown, and Stinnett looks pretty good, like a ball carrier in his own right. He is a senior out of Norfolk, 6'1", 195 pounds.
And those fresh legs, you get past that initial contact up front with those D linemen, and it was wide open for him.
Kearney's got his receiver at the 19-yard line, almost the 20. No huddle offense there for CNU. They're trying to score after the Knights field goal.
And the captain's been very consistent with that. Every time they have a big play, they get back on the ball quick and run a quick play. And usually it's been that quick pass to the right side.
And Stinnett again, this time short gain. Good gain tackling by the Knights. Interior defense. Bill Katoa coming up and making the play, among others. Third and about 2 coming up here for CNU. Stinnett, left side this time. He's got the first down. He's inside the 15. He's down close to the 13.
Looks like should be enough for a first down there. Stinnett made a good decision right there. You saw he didn't head right into that line real quick. He hesitated for a second, waited for his linemen to do their job, and then he put his foot down and made a good cut back inside to pick up first down.
And that's with some defensive substitutions trying to keep that defense fresh as the Captains grind their way down the field. Stinnett again over the right side, down to the 10-yard line. Good tackle made that time coming up, Mitch Oram.
Yeah, Mitch has been very active tonight. He led the Knights last year in tackling. Not something you always want from one of your safeties, but he's very active, and he'll find a way to get up there and get in on the play.
Second down, 8 to go at the 11. And Kearney, play action. He's going to keep it himself for a rare run. He goes down to the 10-yard line. Tackled in the open field again. Making the play, Mitch Oram. We also have a penalty flag down.
Looks like it'll be a hold on the Captains.
Knights will most likely go ahead and take the penalty yardage.
Big hold there by the tight end, just trying to give his quarterback some time to get outside. And that's a 10-yard penalty.
Rare mistake by the senior 84, Matson, the tight end. Second down, 18 now. With the big 4-touchdown lead, we'll see if the Captains try to throw here on a 2nd and 18. Stinnett is alongside Kearney, the quarterback, and Kearney wants to throw across the middle. Wide open is Matson, the tight end, makes the grab inside the 5 down to the 4. Great diving grab by Matson to atone for that penalty.
Good job there by Matson going low to pick that one up.
First and goal from the 4-yard line. Third and short make that, and it's Stinnett getting the carry, and he's hit in the backfield. Dives ahead.
That one's going to be close. It looks like the defense did a good job holding him off.
Cloward on the defensive stop. And it looks like he's going to be shy of the first down marker by about a half yard to a yard, so it's 4th and short coming up here for CNU.
Defense has really got to dig in here. Good motivation here if they can get this stop.
And it's going to be Stinnett on the carry. And he's hit in the backfield, back at the 6-yard line. The Knights make that big defensive stop. And we had some action after the play. Let's see if this is going to be offsetting or if it's going to go against the Knights. It probably is going to be offsetting. Depends on who they flag.
Yeah, there was a lot of activity right there right after that play. So we'll have to see how that comes out here.
Dead ball. Goes against the captains.
So not only did the Knights get the stop there, but with the help of the penalty, it kind of gets them out of the shadow of their end zone.
Knights making a big defensive stand, and we'll see if the offense can get something going. Got a field goal earlier in the second half, but they also had the touchdown at the very beginning of the game. Just not a whole lot outside of those 10 points. New quarterback out there for the Knights. And Moala straight ahead for a short gain. I believe Tate Briggs is the new quarterback.
Tate Briggs, a freshman out of Pleasant Grove, Utah, getting his first opportunity to play here for the Knights at the quarterback position.
Another player that a lot of the Knights are very high on. Well, picked up 3, so it's 2nd down, 7 to go, and it looks like a timeout going to be taken by the Knights. And down by 28 here in the fourth quarter for the backup quarterback, Briggs, is basically a teaching moment.
It is definitely a good opportunity for him to see some time on the field against a good opponent. The coaches are very high on Briggs. They really like his toughness, his ability to run. And he does throw a pretty good ball as well.
Knights will be on the road again coming up next Saturday night at Rowan before they return home for back-to-back home games against Montclair on the 16th and Kane on September the 23rd. And after that September the 23rd game, I believe they only have 2 more home games left. It would be the Apprentice game for homecoming and then Frostburg on that Friday night to wrap up the home schedule in late October.
Yep, they will finish the season out with those 2 road games.
Briggs faking and then getting hammered in the backfield, back around the 20-yard line. Faked the handoff and pays for it by losing yardage. So the ball's back to the 23, 3rd down, 9 to go.
Maybe we'll be in a position here, get to see Briggs with his first pass attempt of his college career.
And he's going to throw across the middle. High pass intercepted. Picked off at the 30. There is a penalty flag down. As CNU will return that in for a touchdown. B.J. Hill, a linebacker, with the interception in return, but we'll see what the penalty flag is all about. Briggs floated that pass a little too high.
He did, and it looked like one of the defenders got his hand on the ball. And if that's the case and the ball was tipped, then there will be no pass interference. Yep. I guess officials will get together and talk about this.
See if they wave it off. Wave off the penalty. The touchdown counts. And CNU now hikes that lead to 44-10. Well, Briggs undoubtedly will try to forget about his first pass.
Definitely.
And I'm not even sure the intended receiver was even open. That might have been one of those deals where you just kind of throw it away or just run with the ball. Not a whole lot of options for Tate Briggs, the backup quarterback, as the captains will try to add the extra point. And so the captains now lead 45-10. They led 28-7 at halftime. They've outscored the Knights 17-3 so far here in the second half.
The captains have been very efficient when they have had the ball. A little different there. They've got opportunity to score with their defense.
Yeah, we talked at halftime about how really tough their short passing game has been, but I guess to a certain degree it's overshadowed how really good their running backs have been, namely Brown and Stinnett.
They have
Brown for most of the game.
Definitely. They have been solid. Brown as a freshman coming in looks good. Good, strong back. Not very often does he not gain some yardage at least. And if he does, very rarely is it 2 plays in a row. And you're right, he is. It's definitely been overshadowed. I think he's probably close to 50 yards rushing tonight. Maybe even got up to 60 with that last drive when he scored. And he averaged 4 yards a carry in the first half and probably continued that in the second half.
I believe CNU will be playing Hampden-Sydney next week. It'll be interesting to see, Chip, just how far and how successful CNU is when they really hit maybe their meat of their New Jersey Athletic Conference schedule and start playing teams like Wesley perhaps, or a Salisbury or a Kane or a Frostburg.
It will be interesting to see how they handle that. This is a good win for them coming in. Brand new coach. They do have some good returners. But losing, like we've said several times, their top running back, their top receiver, those are some hard yards to replace. But they've come in and put some good things together. And this will be some good momentum going forward for that game next week against Hampden-Sydney.
Knights trying to get the offense going here in the second half. Quick pitch from the quarterback. A lot of running room, 40-yard line. This is John Harris, 50. He's into CNU territory and down to the 41-yard line. You love to see him in the open field. Well, John Harris, very quick, a senior out of Darby, Pennsylvania, and he got upfield in a hurry.
That's good to see right here. The Knights aren't giving up. They're still doing their thing, and good to see the senior John Harris pick up a big run there. Be good to see the Knights drive this ball down the field, give them a little bit of momentum going into their game next week with Rowan.
Briggs still at their quarterback to back up. Hands it off straight up the middle. No running room that time.
And the Rowan game is a final. They end up winning their season opener 6-0 off of 2 field goals.
Not a whole lot of offense. I believe they were playing Montclair. Montclair's a pretty tough team. We saw that last year. Rowan kind of stymied with their offense against the Knights defense, but then again, that Rowan defense is pretty tough.
Yeah, they've been solid for several years.
Briggs will run the option left, keep it, get a couple. He's inside the 40.
Good job by him there after the initial contact to keep his legs going and pick up a few extra yards.
Knights looking at a 3rd and 8 here, and this obviously could be due down territory for the Knights. They've got Barnes over to the right, Carroll split to the left as a receiver. Briggs, play action, wants to throw, got a man wide open, it's Green, he's got a touchdown. Albert Green going across the middle.
And that's how you forget about your first pass going for a pick 6. You turn right around and make your next pass a touchdown.
Albert Green, how did he get so wide open coming across the middle?
Great job there on the fake action with the fullback. And then Briggs just doing a good job getting set up. Didn't hurry anything, saw Green coming wide, stepped up and made a good clean throw.
So it's 45-16. Briggs with a touchdown pass. Hatch trying to add the extra point. He does, and it's 45-17.
Nice to see the Knights come back and have some success there.
Their first touchdown of the game since the opening minutes of the game.
Long running touchdown, long throw, which was set up there by that big run by senior John Harris. And then coming right back with a Tate Briggs, his second pass of his college career, goes for a good touchdown.
And now if you're CNU, do you run your offense and try to go right back down the field and respond to that touchdown, or are you more concerned about just trying to run as much clock as possible?
I think they feel like they probably got something to prove to themselves with the new coaching staff, is to come out and do their thing. I don't know if we'll continue to see Kearney at this point in the game. No sense in having take that risk of getting your starting quarterback hurt at this point. But I can see them coming back maybe with their backup and continuing to do the same thing. See what their backup could possibly do with those quick throws and letting Stinnett carry that ball.
Of course, I guess another option for the Knights would be an onside kick, but I don't think we're going to see that. Knights down by 28 here in the fourth quarter. Short kickoff, 15, 16-yard line return by the captains. Good return.
Straight up the middle.
All the way to the 43.
I think the Knights were offsides on that kickoff.
If you're CNU, probably decline that. No, they'll take it after
they add it on.
So they'll have it at the 48. So the good starting field position for CNU gets even better. And they'll have the ball at their own 48-yard line to start this drive.
Well, it looks like the captains do come out with their backup.
And they'll go to the ground game, not much there. Backup quarterback, by the way, is Jack Anderson, a sophomore. And Moni was able to make the tackle for the Knights, freshman out of Hilo, Hawaii. Second down and 11 for the captains. Quick pass to the right with a couple of blockers ahead. But that time the Knights did a great job knocking the blockers out of the way.
Those initial defenders came up and took on the blockers strong that time. Let the linebackers come over and get in that backfield there and keep that to a short throw.
Didn't see the whole lot of that in the first and second quarter, and that's why CNU was able to really expand upon their lead. So it's 3rd and 9 with the ball to 49 now for the captains. Knights come across. Free play. Throw down the right side. Man out there. Caught. Boy, that free play has really been deadly. Oh, he's going to say that he was out of bounds when he made the catch. Luckily for Southern Virginia.
That free play has been there, and it's always been that long throw down the right side, whether it's been Kearney or Jackson.
Offsides is the call, so it'll make it 3rd and 4. Well, the Knights have to really be concerned about two things defensively there, not getting offside, and once they do, making sure they don't give up the long pass. Bad enough to give up 5 yards in penalty yardage. You don't want to give up a 30 or 40-yard pass.
Yeah, I think Coach Epps is going to have a little work to do with his defensive line this week.
3rd and 4. Anderson, the backup quarterback. He's going to throw down the right side again. Too far that time.
Pretty good coverage there, making sure that the defender's getting ridden out of bounds, where he's not giving the quarterback an opportunity to even complete the pass.
Captains look like they're going to go ahead and decide to punt here. Hard to really get a read on how the New Jersey Athletic Conference might be shaping up after just 1 week, because CNU has looked pretty strong tonight, Chip. And, of course, a lot of these teams face very good competition as the punter bobbles it, runs to the sidelines, and then kicks it away. And ends up with a pretty good kick.
And that was a good result after a rough start there.
So Wesley was defeated in their opener, as was Salisbury, but Frostburg had a very impressive opener.
They did. They're taking on, coming in ranked 17th, taking on number 18 Stevenson, and did a good job. They ended up holding them to negative 30 yards rushing, which is just astounding that they can come in and do that to a team that's ranked so high. So hard to tell in the conference, like you said. This is the only game that actually pits two conference members together on this opening weekend.
And if you're Wesley, I'm not really sure you're overly concerned about losing to Delaware Valley. They're a top 25 team, and they lost to them, I believe, last year, and obviously ran the table nearly to make the playoffs, but you never know.
They did, and it was only a 5-point loss. The good thing for them coming out of that one is they were held to just 3 points in that first half, and were able to come back and play some good ball in the second half and keep it close.
Knights will start this drive at their own 18-yard line with just a little over 5 minutes left.
And that was a tough penalty there on the Knights when that punter took off, became a runner. You know, he was just looking to try to make that tackle, and then once he made that kick and brought him down a little bit late, adding a half the distance penalty there.
Yeah, nothing gained on that play, so it's 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Knights. From the 18-yard line, Briggs going to throw right side, fires, got his man, 31-yard line, up to the 34 to the 35.
Good looking play there by Briggs, rolling out to
Newsom
his right,
making the catch.
getting himself a good launch pad set up and making a good throw.
Yeah, Josh Newman, the sophomore out of Haymarket, Virginia, making that catch and adding a few yards on after the catch.
Yeah, another Virginia player on the roster coming up and making a good play.
Newman split to the left this time. They snap over the head of Briggs, and he is back to dive on it. Well, we saw one of those high snaps when Horman was the punter. That cost the Knights. And that time, way over the head of the quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think Briggs was quite expecting it to come there. Looked like he might have had an opportunity to get in front of that thing and wasn't quite ready for it.
Now the Knights are looking at a very tough situation, to say the least, at the 15-yard line. 2nd and a long way to go. They throw the short pass over the left side to Green. He fumbles the ball and then recovers his own fumble, fortunately, back at the 24-yard line.
Definitely something you see happen quite often. Guys trying to make a play, especially at this point in the game, trying to make good things happen, put in that little extra effort and ends up costing him. But fortunately there, the ball took a good bounce right back into Green's hands.
So the Knights were able to get to the 24-yard line. Still a long way to go on 3rd down here for Southern Virginia. Briggs couldn't even turn around. He got sacked way back at the 17 or 18-yard line.
That's tough there. Briggs didn't even have an opportunity to get set up, roll out, anything. Offensive line has got to really pinch that down. Give your quarterback at least an opportunity.
Knights will go ahead and punt here late in the 4th quarter, down 45-17.
Just not able to overcome themselves in a few aspects here. That bad snap and then giving up that sack. After some positive things, after Briggs' good throw.
Horman ready to punt. Gets a good snap this time. Angles it to the right. Fumble on the attempted return by CNU. Scramble for the ball. Looks like the Captains are at the bottom of the pile with the ball.
Yeah, looks like the Captains come up with it.
At the 43-yard line. Well, we'll see if the Captains just maybe decide to keep it on the ground here and run the clock out. Anderson's going to throw. Backup quarterback throws to his left side. Another completion.
Sticking to their game plan, coming out with that short stuff into the flats.
Yeah, I know they lost their top receiver from last year, but it looks like they've got another good receiving core, the Captains do.
They do, and they spread the ball around really well. They've probably had 6 or 7 different guys catch the ball tonight.
Pass to the right. This one's too far. Incomplete. Then you add in Davis and maybe even thin it as a backup running back. And I know they lost their top running back and their top wide receiver last year, and we'll see how the rest of the season plays out for the Captains. But it looks like the cupboard is not bare. I know Coach Pay was telling me that on Wednesday. He said, well, they lost their top running back and their top receiver, but they just reload.
And they do, and the big thing for them is they reloaded with a freshman. He's got some seniors behind him that are probably pushing him a little and giving him some good advice, and it looks like they're just out there playing some good team ball.
3rd and 5, and running at that time for CNU, Jackson Childress, and he gets the first down pickup. First down, Captains, 29-yard line. Anderson's pass blocked that time. They do rule it an incomplete pass.
Batted down by Connor Bazant. Returning player who has recently come back home as well from serving an LDS mission.
Anderson hands it off. Ball's loose. I think the Knights might have this one.
It looked like the Knights got on it, but you never know at the bottom of that pile.
They've got it. Just a little over a minute left.
Didn't see who stripped that one, but it was recovered by Marlon Washington.
Defensive end out of Georgia, sophomore. Knights at times have played pretty well defensively tonight. They've really suffered under that short passing game from CNU.
If they could take that short pass game away and those penalties, it'd be a whole different scenario.
Briggs going to throw, fires a pass. Oh, man, tough hit there. Makes the catch, John Harris does, but he really paid for it.
He did. With that pressure, Briggs couldn't set his feet and bring that follow through, so that ball sailed a little bit. Harris did a good job going up and getting it.
Only a 1 or 2 yard pickup, but Harris right off the ground and back onto the play as Briggs will roll left this time, and he's going to try to run for it. Got by one tackler and picks up a couple to the 33.
And that's a good decision there by the freshman to not force something. Maybe after that first pass he threw, he might have felt like he forced it a little bit through that interception. Since then, he's completed every ball he's thrown.
Briggs rolling right this time. Going to run or attempt to. Took a real mean hit. He got close to the first down marker. I think he might have it.
Briggs deciding to pull that ball down, but it was enough to get the first down and sustain the drive.
Maybe time for one more play. We'll see. Timeout taken by the Knights.
Got 13 seconds left here.
So will the Knights take a shot downfield or just run a normal play here with just 13 seconds to go?
Well, Briggs has proven that he can throw the ball. So it might be a good opportunity for him here. Let him roll a little bit to his right. Get set up out there and see if he can get that ball downfield.
Knights ready to go. Might be able to squeeze in 2 plays in 13 seconds. We'll see on a 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Briggs rolling left. Gets
Picks
first
up another
down,
first
13-yard pickup.
Should be enough to stop the clock again and get up on the ball. Time for one more play.
And Briggs will get that play off for one final play, barring a penalty. Fires, has his receiver. That's Albert Green again. Yeah, I think he might be out with a second to go. Or do they say the clock ended? Looks like they're going to say the clock ended. And the final score is going to be Christopher Newport 45 and Southern Virginia 17. And Chip, it was a 28-7 game at halftime. Knights actually led early 7-6, but then Christopher Newport responded with that short passing game, took a 21-point lead at halftime, and ends up winning this one by 28.
Yeah, and that was tough there. There were quite a few mistakes. The first game, you know, most teams do make a good improvement between their first and second games. And for the Knights, they've definitely got some things to work on. And I think Christopher Newport will go back and look at their film and see that there's a few things to work on there too. There were times when the Knights didn't hurt themselves defensively, that they were able to stop some things with what Christopher Newport was trying to do. You know, they didn't use Kearney very much tonight in the running game. 3 or 4 times is all he might have carried the ball, and maybe that's their plan for this season, is to keep him healthy without putting him in that situation.
When you look ahead to the future schedule, the Knights will be playing at Rowan next Saturday night at 7 o'clock, followed by those 2 home games back-to-back against Montclair and Kane, and then Wesley on the road on September the 30th. And plain and simple fact is, when you're in the New Jersey Athletic Conference, there is really no off week.
No, there's not. There's definitely not an easy game. Even playing William Patterson in the College of New Jersey, you know, you just never know what they're going to bring that week, and every game's tough.
So a convincing victory tonight for Christopher Newport. That's going to wrap things up from the fields at Southern Virginia University. Final score again, CNU over Southern Virginia 45-17. I'm Jim Bresnahan for Chip and Craig Reese, our director, and all of our fine production staff here at Southern Virginia University. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, for Knights football. Have a great evening.